taking them so long?
Have a little faith.
Alright, boys, welcome. It is SFO Grimhammer time, and we got a tournament coming today. Just a quick clarification for what you're seeing on screen right now. If you want to donate to the prize pool, you can tell me exactly however much you want to donate. If you want to go all in with the prize pool itself, none of it goes to me, that's completely fine. Just make sure you let me know. If it happens during stream and you don't clarify, that's what will happen. 25% go to winner, and then I guess 75% would go to me. Now, before we jump into the tournament itself, I do want to show off the rules we are working with today. And the first thing we're going to do is show them off. So, SFO tournament rule set, looking at a fun limit of 15,450 models so we don't run into Mortis engine blobbing or 4 giants running in a huge blob together. We don't want to see the Death Star played too much, so you got to bring actual units to the field. We're going to have a maximum of 5 units costing 0 to 950. See the rest of that right there. Unit caps are on. Bloodthirster, Lord Croak, and a couple of these super weapons are not going to be available. They simply aren't balanced well for competitive multiplayer. We've got maximum 1 net for Lords and Heroes, maximum 2 units with breath attacks per army, and only 1 HP drain effect per army as well. So you won't be seeing multiple Mortis engines. There are a couple OP things you can do in SFO Grimhammer where you stack up like a Plague Monk Sensor Bear ROR, Light Scab's Plague Pack, and just throw that in with a bunch of other stuff and just drain everything in a huge Mortis effect. And it can make for a bit of a cancerous style of play, so we're going to be avoiding that today. If you do want to donate through Super Chat today, just keep in mind, again, no problem with that whatsoever, but YouTube will take a cut of that. If you want to go through PayPal, YouTube will not take a cut, so more of that money will go to me, and more of that will go to the players themselves. But enough about that. We got some gaming to do, so we're going to jump up into Warhammer 2, and we're going to talk about what makes SFO Grimhammer 2 special. Thank you all for joining me today. We've got 420 on stream right now. Hopefully we can bump those numbers up a bit. Those are rookie numbers at the start. But we're doing okay. Hope you guys are doing well. Hope you guys are being safe. I know this coronavirus thing has been pretty insane, but the most important thing right now is everybody stays home and just stay safe. Enjoy the company of your loved ones and don't get other people sick, man. That's the most important thing. So, SFO Grimhammer 2. If you've not heard about it before, if you've not seen it in action before, it's a bit of a crazy mod. We are using a competitive version of the mod that has changed a couple things in terms of the unit counts. Like I said, Bloodthirster and Lord Croak are cut out entirely. You won't be seeing them today because they're a little bit OP and maybe a little bit janky as well. Some of that is purely campaign stuff, and there's nothing wrong with that. SFO Grimhammer, it accentuates the racial characteristics that make each faction unique. If you're the Warriors of Chaos, we're talking about big, burly, brawny men fighting in melee combat. They're going to have higher armor. They're going to have more HP. They're going to be better in melee combat. Their Chaos Warriors are going to be more elite than they are in vanilla. They're just taking all the characteristics that make them special in the base game and turning that dial up to 11, which is Warhammer in a nutshell. That's why we play. This is more of a spectacle-based tournament. It, again, is not perfectly balanced for competitive, but we have done a few things to make it a little bit more competitive. So, for example, in the base SFO, you're looking at a regen cap of, I think, 200%. You can get Boris Todd. Well, actually, it's more than that. I think it's infinite without any submod whatsoever. Today, we're running with a 50% regen cap submod. So, you will not be seeing Boris double his HP, his effective HP. You won't be seeing an Ancient Stegodon with 30,000 HP because someone regrows it 7 times in a row. Won't be seeing any of that. 50%, so if an Ancient Stegodon has 14,000 HP, it can only heal 7,000. That's going to be the baseline for how we do things in this tournament. I think that should make for a bit more competitive nature and a bit less single entity spam and cycle charging and stuff that can get a little bit janky in the late game of a competitive tourney. Welcome, welcome, welcome. In the first round, we have Falcon and Hadries. In the second round, we have Aerocrastic and Flying Taco. 2 XMT players and 2 QSA players, and we're making sure the clan members are not fighting each other in the first round of the tournament. Would not be ideal. So Falcon will be representing XMT, Hadries will be representing QSA. And then whoever wins that will go on to the finals, and that will be a best of 5 series. The opening series will be best of 3. We got Cyber Dane. Love watching SFO tournaments, so here's something for hosting it and for prize pool. Thank you, mate. Much appreciated. All right, Hadries and Falcon are going at it. They're ready. Let's do it. We're on Ohm Shard, so we're going to the very cloudy, very misty lands of Albion for our first matchup, and we're jumping right into the action.
Fortune favors the infamous.
Thank you, Cyber Dane, for that donation. Much appreciated, my friends. All right, so Ohm Shard, Greenskins, and Dark Elves. As you guys well know, Falcon is a well-respected Dark Elf player. He loves his Druchii. He loves going to Death Knight in Haggrafe and giving people grief. He is a super good Dark Elves player, and what we're probably going to see out of him is something that will try and avoid this wah, this overwhelming rush that will likely be coming in from the Greenskins. Now, both factions are pretty versatile. You can imagine Falcon will probably be going for a Black Dragon style of play, and indeed he has. We're looking at Malekith, the Witch King, on Seraphon, the Black Dragon, and this makes a lot of sense because he has a Discourage Contact effect, he has 600 weapon strength, and he has Terror, which is one of the things that the Greenskins can be a little bit susceptible to. He can heal himself with Soul Stealer, of course, get a bunch of regen that way, and essentially what he wants to do is dive in on the back line, get rid of all the skirmishers, and then move in and just start slaughtering stuff. Once they get blobbed up around him, pop a Soul Stealer, get a bunch of health back, and that'll be pretty scary. So you can see he's not invested much in a front line. It's just 2 Dread Spears. We are looking at the Ice Blades Bleak Swords, though. This is a very cool unit. Different than the base game, they actually have a Frostbite contact effect and a Chilling Aura as well. So minus 40% speed gives them a lot of extra utility. A bit more expensive than your typical Dread Spear, of course, but bonus versus infantry, Frostbite, gold shields, pretty good unit. That'll be on top of a Death Hag, so maybe I'm a little bit wrong. He has invested some in that infantry killing potential. That is a grinder. This chariot can bust through Greenskins super easy, and it will really mess them up. Protecting the Sorceress of Beasts as well. Just Transformation of Kadon for the Manticore summon. Seraphon and Malekith look like they have just Soul Stealer and Gaze of Malice. That's literally it. Harpies on the wings, Slaanesha's Harvesters, Doomfire Warlocks, bunch of Dark Riders with repeater crossbows for a bit of skirmish power as well. And for Hadries on the other side, it's looking like it will be Skullmuncha, the Wyvern, and Azhag the Slaughterer. Okay, so he's got some unique abilities as well. Take a look at this. He's got Lethal Poison, deals a lot more damage than a lot of DOTs that we've seen in the base game. He does have Spirit Leech, Soul Blight, and Aspect of the Dread Knight to cause terror. And he's got a front line of Black Orcs with shields, so I'm hoping with the Greenskin rework, we'll be seeing more units like this one. A Greenskins rework to give them some Armed to the Teeth special rule, give the Black Orcs a bit more versatility, give them a few more unit variants would be super nice, and shields are one of them. So better baseline stats overall, but they are not armor-piercing majority. Savage Orcs, a lot of them. A lot of them. If you take a look at this, he has 2,200 soldiers on the field. Savage Orc Big Guns on the flanks with bonus versus large. Savage Orcs in the back, and as you might expect, a lot of light cavalry. Goblin Wolf Rider Archers, and some Goblin Spears, Forest Goblins, in the front ranks. We're going to turn off Hide Foliage, and what's he have hidden here? Some more Forest Goblin Spider Riders. So, yeah, he's using that poison, trying to swarm the field with numbers, and we're going to see how that works out for him. The Dark Elves are obviously much more elite-focused army. They are massively outnumbered, more than 2 to 1, close to 3 to 1. But Falcon does have the mobility advantage with the Dark Riders and the Doomfire Warlocks, which can actually catch up to some of this light cav and run them down and murder them. And the Savage Orcs are not going to enjoy getting shot up. They do have the 30% physical resist. Some of them, I think, have 25%. Oh my god, nice Gaze of Malice, too. Killing off a huge swath, 12 models on the Mogrove's Mangy Marauders. But yeah, the Skirmish Fire coming in on the Savage Orc Big Guns is really going to mess them up. Physical resist is nice, but it won't help you when Doomfire Warlocks with magical attacks are charging in and running you down. Now, they do have bonus versus large, but immediately they are wavering. They got attacked in the rear. There's a nice strike from Falcon, and he's moving in. And we've got a aspect of the Dread Knight to try to cause some kind of terror and keep their leadership up. That's probably why I use that there. That +8 leadership is going to be super useful. More Doomfire Warlocks charging in. Harpies on Overwatch, and Malekith is just looking for one of them juicy breath attacks. Getting a little bit blobby on this side, but this kind of engagement definitely favors the Dark Elves because of all the Soul Blights and all the AoE debuffs he has to deal with these Savage Orcs and pretty much take their stats down to 0. He is going to retreat, but he's moving up close to the cliffs, and if he backs up too much further, he could run himself into the cliffside and get run down in melee. So this Altar of Cain, this Death Hag going up the center, she's going to be that Bastion that tries to buff up everyone and blend all the Greenskin infantry. But it's a little bit dangerous. She does have missile resist, but with all that focus fire, some of it armor piercing if the Mogrove's Mangy Marauders are still online, that's going to hurt. And she's already down to about, oh my god! She just got attacked by Shelob from the flank. The Arachnarok Queen is blending her. She's going to need to run super quick, or the Death Hag's going to go down early, and that could be disastrous for the Dark Elves. Kind of isolated in those front ranks at the start. Bunch of debuffs going down. Got Soul Stealer, stand your ground. Wa is popped, and Hadri's is going straight in. No mercy. Just wants to charge into melee. Azag does not want to be fighting Malekith and Seraphon in close quarters combat. We'll probably see from him as we see a huge breath attack come in from the flank, just demolishing a bunch of Black Orcs with shields. We're probably going to be seeing Azag cast a lot of Spirit Leeches, trying to whittle him down over time. Doesn't want to fully commit because Skullmuncha is a Wyvern, can't beat a Black Dragon in melee combat. Yeah. The Death Hag just got absolutely shish kebab there. That was pretty painful. Cavalry engagement, though, on the flank is going really well for Falcon. Harpies are going to keep... Any unit that routes off from this main blob is going to get hunted down by the Harpies when they return. So it's a really good unit in this kind of scenario. Nice magic missile coming down on the Arachnarok Queen. Going to do some damage to her. But she's definitely the main target. Falcon's going to be focus firing her for sure with all these armor piercing from the Dark Riders. Might want to move those Bleak Swords so they don't block any of the shots. Another Soul Stealer, and you can see the Arachnarok Queen is really starting to drop low already. I mean, she's not quite there in terms of routing, but if she takes too much more damage, this is a ton of burst damage coming in, and Azag has been caught out. This is exactly what the Greenskins did not want to have happen. Azag has no chance of beating Malekith in CQB, and he's getting taken to Pound Town for his trouble. The Greenskin backline is in complete disarray at the moment. The Light Cavalry, the Doomfire Warlocks, are such a nightmare for them to deal with, and Falcon is feasting on that. Arachnarok Queen is routing off, and the big question now, can Hadri's do something to protect it? Maybe form some kind of pocket around this and force off Malekith, because if he's allowed to chase this all the way to the edge of the map, that Arachnarok Queen is gone, and I think with it, the Greenskin chances of winning, but we'll see. Seems to be getting some space now, and it has already returned back up to 20 leadership. Doomfire Warlocks after the Goblin Wolf Rider Archers, and more of those Soul Blights. Those AoE debuffs going down, really messing up the Greenskins and the Savage Orcs, what they want to do. I mean, look at that. Minus 25% weapon damage, minus 7 leadership, minus 7 melee defense. And they don't have a lot of defense to work with in the first place. So losing all that, they're down to 12. They can easily get hit. And that's a big deal when you're talking about magic attacks on the Doomfire Warlocks, able to carve through them pretty quick. But balance bar is shifting back more towards even. Hadri's with that Arachnarok Queen is ready to go back in. The Death Hag has returned down to 2200 HP, blending a bunch of the infantry in the center. Black Orcs just getting absolutely bulldozed, lawnmowered. Another Gaze of Malice, more routing for the Savage Orcs. Do they have what it takes in terms of a win condition to deal with Malekith the Witch King? And right now, I'd say this looks a little bit bleak for the Greenskins, because the Black Dragon is still relatively, he's pretty safe right now, right? He's got 6,900 HP, and he's probably got more Soul Stealers to cast as well. Yeah, the Arachnarok Queen is going to rout. It's yet another magic missile dropping from on high, and with the Spider gone, they have absolutely nothing to take down Seraphon. That's going to be the game. That's game one. That was quick. It was dirty. It was a little bit blobby, but it was well done from Falcon to get in, destroy the Savage Orcs in the rear, and of course, dude, I mean, this is a lore that costs about 3,500 on Seraphon, almost 300 kills. The impact he makes on battles can be completely absurd. Breath attack is crazy good on Seraphon as well. He carried that game. I mean, he went in, dropped the Soul Stealers, got a bunch of health back, and so he didn't really have to worry about losing his Lord. You're getting about 1,000 HP, 900 HP or so every time you cast Soul Stealer, whether that hits anything or not. Yeah, it's a big deal when you're talking about a huge HP pool on Seraphon. So the Bleak Swords, the Ice Blades, the Witch Elves, and the Doomfire Warlocks all did pretty well. The Doomfire Warlock play especially, I think, really good pick in this matchup, especially if you think your opponent's going Savage Orcs. Magic attacks allow you to bypass the physical resist, scythe right through that, which is great in and of itself. Then you've got the Soul Blights, and all that stuff, that synergy, stacks up, and it makes it kind of a nightmare for the Greenskins to deal with. These Savage Orcs really didn't do a whole lot for Hadri's at all. The Light Cav got shut down a little bit easier than I was expecting. Ace of Malice to shut down Mogreb's Mangy Marauders was a really good idea. Ragnarok Queen just didn't have the time she needed to beat up on Malekith. And Azag, things started going downhill when he committed to melee. I'm not sure when he committed into the back line, but as soon as he did, Transformation of Kadon and Seraphon ganged up on him, and from there it was pretty much game, set, match. So well played. We'll go into game 2. It's 1-0 Falcon right now, but we'll be moving into, I guess, the Golden Monolith, Siggy's home turf. That'll be the Golden Dildo of the Gods. So we'll switch to that map real quick, and we'll check out what factions they want to play with. Yeah, so one of the things you'll notice with SFO Grimhammer, these battles are going to be a lot bigger than the base game. Unit sizes are larger for the things that, kind of the meat shields, right? So Savage Orcs, definitely Forest Goblin Spiders, not spiders, just regular Forest Goblins, regular Goblins, Skaven Slaves, Clan Rats. A lot of them, even zombies, have about 220 models per unit on Ultra unit size. Then the elites feel more elite. You're talking more like 45 to 60 models on stuff like Blackguard of Nagaron. So there's a bigger discrepancy between the top tier stuff and the bottom tier stuff. Also a lot more HP on the units, but they also deal a lot more damage. So the actual battle speed, I'd say, is pretty similar to the base game. Maybe even sometimes a little bit faster, simply because magic is a lot more powerful, a lot more impactful. You've got a lot more winds of magic to work with, and some of the units deal pretty absurd amounts of damage as well. But when you look at something like a Hyrule Titan, I think it has 10,000, maybe 12,000 HP in the base game. It's got 20,000 in SFO. So across the board, I'd say at least a 75% increase in the HP pool is pretty standard. If Venris wants to end up doing some kind of giveaway in terms of the game or something, that's, you can talk to him about that. We didn't talk about it, so I'm not trying to put him on the spot. He absolutely does not have to do anything like that. I'm not doing a giveaway. I don't have one planned today, but I mean, it is an SFO Grimhammer tournament. So if he has any codes laying around and he's moderating today, which I don't know if he is or not, then he will let you know. Do not feel pressure to do anything for the plebs, Venris. Don't worry about it, my god. Alright, so we're on Golden Monolith, and it's looking like Beastmen and Larry the Everqueen, possibly. It's Avalorn, at least. We don't know for sure, but if you're going Avalorn, you're probably going Alariel, would be my guess. A lot of legendary lords in SFO Grimhammer have been entirely reworked. People like Grimgor, way, way, way better than in the base game. Pretty scary in melee combat. Oh, maybe he's not going. I think they're still working that stuff out. Lots of Sisters of Avalorn. Against Beastmen, I would not recommend it. Don't need that much HP, and protecting your back line against the Bray Herd, the Cloven ones, the Children of the Forest, might get a little nightmarish. So my guess would be, if he was playing Avalorn, which it looks like he might still, you do not want to go many Sisters. So we are not playing with big armies, but we had 3,000 models on screen last game, which is a lot bigger than in the base game. So I'd say it's already pretty big. Start getting into 40 unit cap with these unit sizes, and there might be some lag to deal with. So we're probably still going to run into some of that. If anyone plays Skaven on stream today, or Beastmen goes a lot of Ungors, yeah, it can get a teeny bit laggy when the zoom starts kicking in, because I'm also streaming as well. How many winds of magic did he cost? Not sure what that means.
Fortune favors the infamous.
Rohit Nair, for someone afflicted by the latest plague that has come forth from the Plague Father's cauldron, this stream is like the tears of Shalia herself. $20. Thank you, my friend. Much appreciated. Thank you for the support. And it's looking like we are going to get Avalorn and Beastmen. So put your money right now. Put it down. Are we going Falcon? Is going to sweep this 2-0, or is Hades going to bring this back 1-1 with the Beastmen? PGOs, $5. Skulls for the Skull God. Blood for the Blood Throne. Thank you, sir. Much appreciated. By the way, if you've not checked out the Astartes Part 5, go watch it. Holy shit. That is some of the best animation I have ever seen, considering that's like a one-man team. It might be, I don't actually know if it's a one-man team. I know there's one guy running the channel. It might be 2 or 3 people working on the animation. It doesn't matter. It is absolutely obscenely good. Go watch it. And I'm kind of considering doing some kind of overview of it, because there's so many lore tidbits in that were so hype. There's a lot of attention to detail that went into the last part. I watched it yesterday and my mind was blown. Super, super good. Go check out Astartes if you haven't already. I imagine most of you already have. Most of you already have been following that series. It's been a godsend for 40k fans, and hopefully it will be the blueprint for an actual official high-budgeted kind of movie. Because, I mean, it literally blows anything Games Workshop's ever done on that front out of the water. They need to take notes from the fans themselves, because they know how to hit that 40k nail on the head, and he's done so, and then some. Yeah, there's a lot to talk about in terms of the lore there. The first time I watched it, I kind of thought it was a fever dream. I thought the end of it was kind of feverish and not actually happening. Everything that happened in that episode, I think, legit happened. That's the furthest I'll go into. I don't want to spoil it for people who haven't seen it yet, but it's really, really interesting. A lot of lore snippets there. A lot of things to talk about. But this is a Total War Warhammer 2 stream, so we'll focus on that for now. Got 670 people on stream right now. Thank you guys for joining. Thank you all for the donations so far. Really appreciate it. Yeah, do that, Inquisitor. Oh my god, poor guy. Oh, heresy shall not stand. Falcon, Hadres, Beastmen, Avalorn. Now, the Beastmen High Elves matchup is one... It's actually one of my favorite in the game. I think in vanilla, it gets really interesting for a variety of reasons. Ilariel is super good here, because she's really tanky. Her Star of Avalorn is obviously amazing. But the healing is going to be cut down quite dramatically compared to what you might normally see in SFO Grimhammer because of that 50% regen cap. So, while there will probably be some Star of Avalorn and Dragon play in this battle, the healing will be limited, for sure. And so you won't be able to just dive in and pop that Star of Avalorn and get massive, massive, massive heals on that Star Dragon 4 or 5 times in a row with the Earthbloods and everything. It just isn't going to work that way. He's not going to have the ability to heal much more than past half HP. So that's something to think about for sure. I still think a Dragon would be really good here. Not sure that Falcon will do that, but considering it's Falcon, he probably will. If you're the Beastmen, when that Star Dragon lands, you better pounce and give it everything you got. Because when you invest a ton in taking him down and don't, and then Ilariel drops a banishment or something on your head, you're going to be in for a rough time. But they have some additional tools in this mod that should really help. Stuff like Slangor, super fast, almost the fast of heavy cavalry on foot, a lot of armor piercing, a lot of troops. What Chaos God and its units in Warhammer 3 do you love the most? So I actually think that a Slaaneshi Demonette-themed army is going to be the most fun. Again, I've talked about it before, but splitting demons and warriors of chaos as separate entities for their full faction, then going god-specific for Khorne, Slaanesh, Tzeentch, and Nurgle, and combining the demons and mortals for each god into specific rosters, I think is the way to go. So a Slaaneshi roster with the Demonettes, Keeper of Secrets as your general, and your single entity rare choice type. Combining all that stuff. Chaos Knights with the Mark of Slaanesh, with the Baroque armor, the purple gold, the mirrored shields, all that stuff. The aesthetics in and of itself are amazing. But then the gameplay style for Slaanesh is one that's Focused on immune to psych and armor piercing and speed. Squishier than the other gods for sure. Way squishier than Nurgle. Way squishier than Khorne. But way faster. Highly mobile. Ton of armor piercing damage. Really, really fast. We're talking the Hellstriders of Slaanesh and the Demonettes, the Seekers of Slaanesh. They're going to be moving at 9,500 speed. Keepers of Secret, 10 movement speed on tabletop, should also be moving about 90 speed, which is going to be super scary for a single entity that's on foot, technically. But that kind of mobility, that can change the game. I think Slaanesh is maybe going to be the strongest of the 4 gods on launch day. We're a very long time away, and of course we don't even know if they're going to combine rosters at all. But if they do, that would be my guess for sure. Because we've... Just making sure he's ready to go. Yeah, I think the fact that you can move your entire army like 60 plus speed, even for your infantry, and then you're talking 100 speed plus for the light cav, that's a crazy combination, dude. Then you give them some armor piercing, glass cannons all across the board. That's some really, really good options. Still blows my mind when people say they don't want monogods. It's like, look, I get why you wouldn't want those as the only starting factions when Warhammer 3 drops on day 1, but why would that be? First off, that's never going to happen. They're not going to just release Nurgle, Tzeentch, Slaanesh, and Khorne as starting factions and have nobody else. But it just means more content. Like, if you combine those rosters and then go Demons of Chaos Undivided and Warriors of Chaos Undivided, each with their own separate lore choices, like, that's perfect. 6 Chaos factions. Yeah, it's going to be a lot of Chaos, but we're also getting Kislev, and we're getting probably Midland at some point, another Empire subfaction that'll be close to that area of the world. Neferata, Nagash, Chaos Dwarfs, Ogre Kingdoms. Like, there's so much content there. And then if CA wants to go real balls deep, talking Cathay, man, Far East. Like, there's more than enough content coming in Warhammer 3. Might not all get done, but a lot of it will. But we gotta talk Warhammer 2 right now, and we're looking at the Beastmen army first. Zangors are one of the 4 marked Beastmen units that you can bring to bear. Zangors are super cool. Bonus versus large. They've got spears. They've got a Skyfire magic missile that doesn't fire one magic missile. It fires an entire volley, like they're literally firing their bows. And there's a pretty cool animation for it too. So they'll fire magical arrows across the battlefield. These can do an obscene amount of damage actually against single entities. They're actually better against single entities than they are against full units of infantry or cav. But magical attacks, they've got this hunger for magic, -5 leadership, -15% magic resist, and plus 15% miscast chance. So they deal additional damage just from their passive alone. They've got, of course, they still have their Primal Fury and pretty decent stat line. Now, their defense is a little bit low. They're a little bit squished for sure, but pretty cool and versatile unit. Back here, the Blackhorn's Ravagers have Armor Sundering and Rowdy, meaning they do not lose Vigor. Ungor Spearman Herd, bunch of Chaos Spawn, and a Wild Dragon Ogre, which has a unique ability in SFO called Earthquake. And what this does is a huge AoE around it, triggers an explosion that knocks back enemies and deals damage. So kind of like a Flock of Doom in terms of the DPS, but also knocks back enemies. Also has Armor Sundering, crazy weapon strength, and the style for it is pretty aligned with how you'd expect a Beastman aligned Dragon Ogre to work. And of course, not truly a Beastman in and of itself, but kind of summoned by the tribes to go to war. Bunch of Chaos Spawn too, and it's looking like it's Morgar the Shadowgave, which makes a lot of sense with the Chaos Spawn summons. On the other side, Dryads in the front ranks. They have dances for the Wood Elves. They do not have them for the Avalorn subfaction, which actually makes a lot of sense. They can actually pick and choose which style they want to go for, an aspect of Birch or Oak that changes whether they have higher melee defense or they're more aggressive, that kind of thing. Bunch of Silver Helms with lances, no shields. They actually have armor piercing in SFO, which I did not know. Really good stat line, 38-49, pretty scary. And of course it is Alariel on her Great Eagle with a Star Dragon in support. Look to be healing that up with the Earthbloods all day long. Coming in from the flank, some Harpies. Out here, more Illyrian Reavers. So definitely a highly mobile army for the High Elves as well. Shadow Warriors in the back ranks, 3 of them in fact. Protecting that, not going to be easy, but he does have a cav advantage for sure. In fact, no Centaur play coming out of the Beastmen whatsoever. Could get really interesting. Now, if you're the Beastmen, protecting these Zangors might not be the easiest thing. They do have bonus versus large. Star Dragon lands in your back line and starts munching at them. They really aren't going to do a whole lot of damage to it. What I'd like to see is him pop a Skyfire volley early like that. Exactly. Perfect. And that tracking is really good. Did some decent damage. It wasn't a lot, but getting her to use her heals on herself is a really good idea. And it's not, I think that it's maybe like a 60-second cooldown. 45-second cooldown. You can do that 5 times. So for 5 volleys, I mean, if you can do that another 4 times, he's going to do a lot of damage to Alariel for sure. So like that, put it on cooldown early, get some damage, get some value out of it, and then move on. Obviously, Beastmen going to be moving straight into melee combat. Nice flank charge coming in from the Illyrian Reavers, but it was not the Silver Helm, so not going to do too much. Couple attacks from the Dragon Ogre. Should bring down a few of their number, you would think. Didn't kill any on that first one. Still didn't kill any. Wow. But Chaos Spawn and the rest of the Beastmen Bray Herd are pushing in. Falcon is going to deny melee combat for as long as he can. He might go in for some cheeky back charges, but he doesn't want the Dryads to fight yet because they will get run over by the Chaos Spawn and this combination of infantry. So what he needs to do, sit back, get rid of the meat shields, and then whittle down those Chaos Spawn. Not going to be an easy fight for Hadri's, honestly. He has a long way to go to even get into melee combat, and when he does so, Silverhelms can run down his infantry, and he's already routed on some of his Ungor Spearmen. Chaos Spawn are feeling the effects of that focus fire from the Shadow Warriors as well. Well, so I think he was actually right to shoot the Eagle. I wouldn't mind seeing him do it against the Star Dragon either, but the homing on these Starfires, the magic missile, is actually really good. So it can hit you even if you are dodging a lot. Normally, yeah, it is hard to hit, but the Starfires, or Skyfires rather, do have a lot of homing on their attacks. So Chaos Spawn are going right in. These Chaos Spawn are not going to be around for very long. They're getting torn up by the Shadow Warriors and by the Spearmen in the front ranks. Silverhelms and Illyrian Reavers on the flanks are charging in, trying to get to the Ungor Spearman herd and the Beastmen Warhounds. More Silverhelms charging. The Zangors have already taken a cycle charge. A big breath attack. Oh, trying to get rid of the Feral Manticore, but didn't actually do that much. Only got maybe 2 Chaos Spawn kills would be my guess. Over here, the Blackhorn's Ravager should run through these Dryads in seconds. It will not be long before they're able to push through. And if you can get on top of these Shadow Warriors, that would be huge. They move at 57 speed. They can actually catch up to the 38 speed of the Shadow Warriors. And in the center, Beastmen looking very strong. So if he pushes through, shuts down those archers, he could be in really good shape. There has been 1 transformation of Kadan already. Then he's ready to cast its second one. While Dragon Ogre is getting beat up by the Star Dragon, but he has support. So I'll be interested to see what happens here. The Feral Manticore is pushing off the Great Eagle. Alariel doesn't want to fight it in melee if she can avoid it. Harpies are going to pin her in place. Really well played from Hadri's there. And if you can get rid of Alariel here, this could be the end for Avalorn. Really nicely played. Blackhorn's Ravagers ran over the Dryads as we expected. Silverhelms holding back the Harpies and stemming the tide on that side. But now Hadri's has unfettered access to the Shadow Warriors in the back ranks. Nice Tempest from Falcon. Going to give him some space. He can escape with Alariel now and look to dive into the back. A huge Star of Avalorn. But the Chaos Spawn have poison. Remember that. That makes disengaging with the Star Dragon so much more difficult. More Chaos Spawn charging forward. And they aren't degenning like normal summons in the base game. So they'll be able to fight for a lot longer. This is why he brought Morgur. He gets a lot more summons on the field. A lot more bodies. A lot more money. And when you have more money to use in Warhammer 2, you can put more stuff on the field and make your opponent have a very tough time. So he's looking really strong in this blob in the center. But the Star Dragon is a Star Dragon. It's got 60-60 in terms of its MA, MD. Crazy tanky, 95 armor, and those heals from Alariel. So it's actually not dying yet. But if it stays here with the Wild Dragon Ogre beating up on it, it will. So he needs to get out of there. He needs to disengage, but he might not be able to. The poison is really messing up that Star Dragon, and there's so much mass here too. But those kind of animations are what he needs to get out. He needs to get something over here, some cavalry, the Silverhelms, rest of the rest of the heavy cav. Charge in, pull your Star Dragon through, maybe he gets away. But so far, Hadrius is doing a great job of shutting down that Star Dragon. It's getting pooped on right now for sure. Down to 4,700 HP. But it looks like it will escape. That's the Earthquake ability from the Wild Dragon Ogre Shaggoth. Harpies are coming in, and Illyriel needs to get rid of them, or they might chase him all the way to the edge of the map. The infantry fight has definitely gone the way of the Beastmen, but the Shadow Warriors are still online, and almost nothing has been done to shut them down. The Feral Manticore needs to die back there, maybe. Another Tempest, getting rid of the Harpies. Oh, so well played from Falcon, and already, just like that, it's swinging back towards Avalorn. Star Dragon has returned, the Harpies are gone. The Beastmen are beginning to look kind of weak in the center. Wild Dragon Ogre is about to drop. Oh, this is looking bad for Hadrius. He needs something to get rid of the Star Dragon and Illyriel, but I'm not sure he has the tools to do it. Nice focus fire coming in. Those Chaos Spawn just do not stand up well to focus fire from Shadow Warriors. They've got 43 missile damage. That's a lot when you're talking about 0 armor. Beautiful charge coming in from the Silver Helms, bowling over a bunch of the Ungor Spearmen, but nicely played from Hadrius to get the sandwich on them. And the Warhounds coming in as well. They've got the Beastmen War procced. They're going to chase them down off the map. And again, that breath attack didn't do a whole lot. Beastmen have what it takes to take down the Star Dragon. At this point, I'm going to say no, especially because he has Armor Sundering and Flaming Attacks, which means Morgur, he's 22% weakness to fire, is really going to start messing him up bad. Actually, he does have Flame Resist, though. I'm not sure why. I'm looking at the bottom. He has the weakness to fire, but he does have the Flame Resist. It doesn't matter. He realizes Morgur is caught out. No way to save him. And the Beastmen were looking really strong for a while there, but that is how a lot of Beastmen players end up playing, right? You come out really strong, you run over your opposition in the opening stages of the battle, but if your opponent is able to minimize those losses and weather that first wave, that first storm, in a long, dragged-out fight, the Beastmen do not thrive there, and Illyriel kind of provides that healing and that tankiness and that staying power that your Star Dragon and single entities really need. Wild Dragon Ogre had no heals, Star Dragon did, ended up being the difference in that game. As soon as the Dragon Ogre was gone, there was no answer for the massive Star Dragon the Avalorn troops brought to bear, and I mean, it got 89 kills and 3 chevrons, so that's no joke, dude. Star Dragons in SFO, they are scary beasts. Nicely played. So the Dryads did absolutely nothing, but they weren't really meant to. They're 450 gold or 550. Just supposed to hold on for as long as they possibly can, which I guess they did. Shadow Warriors were not killed off. I would have maybe liked to have seen a bit more mobility in this army. I think Chaos Spawn are a good pick, but maybe 4 of them might have been a teeny bit overkill. That said, the Unbreakable against the Star Dragon, Beastmen do kind of struggle against Terror. It makes a lot of sense, but you're leaving yourself a little bit susceptible to this kind of play. The Shadow Warriors, so much value. 2 chevrons, 1 chevron, 2 chevrons. A lot of kills, especially on those Chaos Spawn. Well, as soon as the Chaos Spawn were dead, didn't have the mass to keep that Star Dragon pinned, and after that, it was pretty much game, set, match. So nicely played from Falcon. To be fair, Falcon does have a lot more experience in SFO multiplayer than Hadrius. I think Hadrius played well. I think both his builds were good. The Elves are strong, and Falcon is very strong with them. So nicely played from both players. I think Hadrius could have had that if he was able to finish off that Star Dragon. Couldn't quite do it, and Falcon takes the win. 2-0. So, Falcon moving into the finals, and we'll be moving on to Aerocrastic and Flying Taco in the other semifinals match. Yeah, so that's a good point. Albion rare, even Ungrim and a Dragon Slayer would have dropped that dragon fast. There are a lot of bonus versus large options, as well as the Beastmen as well. Minotaurs with great weapons. The Bulgors would definitely Shrek a dragon if they got a full surround off on it. The nice thing about the Chaos Spawn is they have the mass to pin it down and the poison to slow it down, but they don't have a ton of killing power against single entities. They have about 220 weapon strength per model in SFO, but they don't have bonus for large, and their melee attack value isn't incredibly impressive. So those were factors for sure. But yeah, healing is strong. GG to Hadrius, GG to Falcon. I'm going to host, and we'll get Aerocrastic and Flying Taco in there. I will be right back, and we'll jump right into round number 2. Hope you guys enjoyed that one. More coming. Okay, so before we jump into the next series, I want to give a big shout out to Ledge, to Bigot Banksy, and Holy Pilgrim for donating so far. They donated before the tournament began. They have risen the prize pool to about 120 at the moment. Of course, more are welcome. If you want to donate straight to the prize pool, PayPal link in description is the way to go. And then you can just tell me how much you want that to go to the prize pool or to me or vice versa. Whatever. It doesn't really matter. But we were about 120 or so at the moment, not counting what's been donated on stream. All that stuff will be done at the end. So hope you guys enjoyed that first set. We're going to be moving into the second one right now. And we're ready to get this thing popping off. So let's go back to Warhammer 2. And we've got Aerocrastic and Flying Taco on Mortis Waste. And it might be Tomb Kings and Lizardmen. This tournament is called Fear the Old Ones. It's good to get some Lizardmen representation in there. I eat you, you fear me. We're an old one's prophecy. And it's going to get super nasty because Aero is scary with the Tomb Kings. Flying Taco, I know, is a great Lizardmen player. And they're going to have some interesting builds for sure. Oh, yeah. My bad. I got to fix them funds, though. I don't know why that doesn't save, to be honest. I just hosted. It should save the exact same thing that I already had. Do any of the donations go to Venris for SFO? No. If you want to donate to him, just go to his Patreon page. He's got one on both Steam and in his Discord. You can find him there. Venris, if he wants to link those, can link those in the chat if he feels like it. But yeah, I mean, this mod, obviously not designed with competitive multiplayer in mind. With that said, the spectacle for it in terms of tournaments and stuff, it's pretty great. We've done this before Last one turned out amazing, so I wanted to do it again. This one is a little bit, I guess, more disorganized. I just thought of it. I wanted to do a tournament last night. Hadn't done one for a bit, so thought it might be a good time. It has been so far. First series was good. Actually had a really interesting practice game between Arrow and Falcon before the tourney began that I saved. Hadri's had Hellman Gorst running around being a little nerd in the corner of the map. But there have been some super good games, and I must say the spectacle in SFO is something that's pretty unique. It's one of my favorite things about it. Just the size of the armies, the power of elites. It feels different than vanilla, which is why we're doing it, because it gives us a nice little change of pace, but still some of that familiar feel, I guess is the best way to put it. Alright, they're ready to go. We got unit caps on, we got 15,000 funds. So a little bit lower than what we used in the last tournament I did. I think we used 16,500 or 17,000 for the last tournament. And I think that's a good number as well, but maybe a little bit skews it more towards the elites. For 15,000, you've got to think a little bit more about how you invest that money.
Fortune favors the infamous.
Just had a donation that went through PayPal, I think, so let me go to donation history real quick. And if I do miss your donation, by the way, I will be sure to catch it at the end. So, my boy Arrow pulling out the Tomb Kings from the Tank 1. He was a sponsor for the last tournament we did, and he dropped some fat cash in that one. So, big ups to him for sponsoring that one. He's been awesome. 20 bucks this time. Thank you very much, my friend. Much appreciated. And Arrow with the Tomb Kings indeed is going to be a force to be reckoned with. Alright. So, looking at builds. Got Aerocrastic representing the QSA clan on the Tomb Kings. We got a Hyro Titan with 17,500 HP. Tall Geese, the Gundam, is out in force and stomping towards the lizard people. Got magical attacks, fire attacks, and Bone Crusher contact effect. Lowers melee defense and speed. And he's got Spirit Leech and Shem's Burning Gaze bound spells as well. What I don't know, it doesn't appear it has it. Giants in SFO have an AoE at their feet that's literally this big. That will deal damage over time for any unit that's standing in that radius. That's an enemy. It doesn't deal friendly fire damage. But it'll drain life. And essentially that's representing the fact that they'll stomp you into pulp as they're marching around. Hyro Titans don't seem to have that. At least if it's there, I don't see it. But that's fine, because the Hyro Titan has a lot more versatility than a regular giant does. So, that was Ventress's way of trying to balance giants and make them a little bit more useful. Hopefully, we get to see a giant today. He has 2 Screaming Skull catapults to deal with the Temple Guard. He has Sepulchral Stalkers, the Eyes in the Desert. If you saw my Wood Elves vs. Ark in the Black game from a few weeks back, there was a point where I realized the Sepulchral Stalkers don't have their bonus versus large high AP quick shot they have normally. They have their bonus versus infantry shot that they used to have, the kind of slower AoE shot. So that's something you'll have to keep in mind. Can't kill dinos like that. Now on the other side of the field, we have Flying Taco, Lord Mazda Mundi, a Stegodon Goon Squad with a Skink Chief as well, and Lord Mazda on Zlok, the Ancient Stego. Got some Pharaoh Cold Ones. Temple Guard on the flanks, who have Cavalry Bane, which slows down charge bonus, lowers charge bonus, slows down speed, and turning radius on enemy cav. So it kind of snares them in place when they charge halberds, which is pretty cool. More Pharaoh Cold Ones, and in the back, more Pharaoh Cold Ones, and an Amaxon Barb. So Ancient Salamander, except it's a Razordon, not a Ancient Salamander. Really cool unit. 2,200 missile damage. Pretty terrifying. Now already, the Skink Chief is getting wrecked, but Apotheosis should heal him up nicely. Yeah, you're going to see him start focusing down these Skinks, trying to rout them with the Screaming Skulls. The Eyes in the Desert are moving up. This is bonus versus infantry shot that's about to come in. So this could do some damage. Not so good versus the dinos. Let's see what kind of damage that does. Not horrible, but a lot of shots kind of hit on the way in. Little bit of a rise there, and it blocked a lot of the shots. Lizardmen are getting really spread out at the moment. This is pretty interesting. Right now, I'd say the builds favor Aerocrastic, but what do I know, dude? Like, This is new territory for me as well. Temple Guard charging in. Usurian's Incantation of Vengeance will slow them down. And then more range attacks coming in, doing about 800 damage or so. So certainly not bad. Grand Hierophant Katep on foot will be retreating into the safety of his own battle lines. Skeleton Warriors receiving the charge, and already, man, those Temple Guard are getting wrecked. Feral Cold Ones, they're going to get blown up by some of these, but these will not be so good against the large targets. Really, the focus fire is going to be focused right here on this King Chief and on Mazda Mundi. And the big question is, can they take down the Stegodons? One of them is already about to die. Those Great Bows are wrecking him. And honestly, the threats in the back line, not that scary. It's just Feral Cold Ones. Right now, I'd say this is heavily favoring the Tomb Kings. I'm not sure he's going to be able to get that King Chief back. I mean, he's getting absolutely shredded by the Ushabti Great Bow fire. But the Amaxon Barb is firing in. And, oh, sniping out Grand Hierophant Katep. He's getting pretty low. Sandstorm going down, wrecking some of the Temple Guard. We only have one kill so far. Got a spell coming in. Burning Head. Ooh, nice one. Really nice cast there. Forgot Mazda Mundi has Burning Head in this mod. I was like, who casted that? It was Mazda Mundi, and a rumination of titties in the back lines as well. That's gonna mess up a lot of the Skeleton Warriors, and Mazda Mundi is unfazed so far. He's just straight up into the back line, doesn't care, but with a Hyro Titan fighting him, and the Stalkers as well, that's a scary combo. He needs to get more through. So, I haven't talked about this yet. The Honor Guard of Hextall, only 12 units. This is a legendary unit for the Lizardmen. Has a 50% missile resist buff for any lord or hero that's in the radius of the effect, and it's constant. So Mazda Mundi can't get shot down while those guys are near him. They're called Honor Guard for a reason. They're basically like the bodyguards of Zlanopek, that kind of sacred mist that swarms around any lord or hero, keeping him much tankier. That's the reason Mazda Mundi hasn't taken much damage so far. Casting a huge Burning Head. We're about to anyway. Some Skink Chiefs coming in from the back. And the River Amaxon Barb is still alive. And now it can blend in melee too. I mean, 53 melee defense, 37 melee attack, and lethal poison. Pretty good combo. Now the Skeleton, Screaming Skull Catapults rather, firing into the back. It looks like some of the Feral Cold Ones are already breaking. Ancient Mind is an AoE, actually map-wide, cold-blooded. So he tried to get them under control, but that did not work. Mazda Mundi is starting to get worn down here, but those Temple Guards are starting to break into the back line, and the River Amaxon Barb also messing with some of these Screaming Skull Catapults too. So he is starting to collapse in and break down this box that Aerocraftic set up that was looking really strong. Hyro Titan has not been touched so far, and I'd say that's still a big threat, and it has Necrotech support. So it's getting the plus armor, the plus melee attack, and that regen from the heal. So that's something that he'll definitely have to think about. Might want to have Mazda Mundi come over and kill him quickly with that bonus versus infantry. Cascading Fire Cloak, giving him flame resist, which is huge. When you're talking about dueling a Hyro Titan. Another Burning Head, destroying a bunch of Tomb Guard, and he doesn't have to worry about his own Temple Guard because they have high armor, while the Skeleton Spearmen do not. So definitely a nice cast. The Necrotech and the Stalkers and the Ushabti Great Bows are still a problem though. And the main line, the main infantry for the Lizardmen, has kind of gotten shredded, but the Skink Chief has come back, and it has ranged firepower. It's a good way to whittle down that Hyro Titan. Just give himself some flame resist so he can deal with this Hyro Titan in melee combat. Shield of the Old Ones, Bubble of Nope is popped, giving himself the Incantation of Hextall, the plus 10 on melee attack. That is also from the Honor Guard of Hextall as well. And they're blending stuff, dude. Wow, they're up to 110 kills with their AoE attacks. They are absolutely shrekking these skeletons, trying to push all the way through. They are bonus versus infantry, not bonus versus large, like regular Temple Guard. Another big ruination of cities, destroying some Skeleton Spearmen. And he's doing a good job so far, for sure. Aerocrastic might be running out of steam here, but some good focus fire coming in from the Ushabti Great Bows from close range. If Mazda Mundi drops, could be disastrous. What he needs to do, keep this Honor Guard on top. Doing a great job of that. That plus 50% missile resist is so damn good. And now he's in and shutting down the Ushabti Great Bows, preventing them from firing. But poison coming in from behind. Lethal poison. Bonus for large, armor piercing. This is bad news for Mazda Mundi. And if he can't get us a round off on this stuff, it could be game, set, match if the Lord Mazda Mundi goes down. Lord Pepe, can he hold on? We'll find out soon enough. More Feral Cold Ones have returned. King Cohort in the back. Ancient Mind popped again. Give everyone Unbreakable map wide. About to wear off, though. And the Stalkers getting worn down a bit by the Feral Cold Ones, but they won't be around for too much longer. Now, we do have to remember, the Ushabti summon is still online for Aerocrastic, and that could change things. That pins down Mazda Mundi, it could be the game. Shield of the Old Ones, 20% ward save. Not quite as powerful as Lord Crow's Bubble of Note, but a very good one. And it is shifting towards Arrow now. Bounce bar shifting towards him. Mazda Mundi is about to rout. Lizardmen are looking like they might run out of steam here. The Honor Guard have been untouched, and they're still at 117 kills. Like John, UNSC, Spartan 117 coming in. Now they're at 123, so that joke doesn't work anymore, but they're Master Chiefing it up with the Skeleton Spearmen. I think this King Chief is dead. The Ushabti summon did come through. Full surround off. 75 weapon strength. It is bonus versus infantry, but it's certainly enough to rout this thing off. Cold-blooded trying to keep him in the fight. Barely hanging on with 5 leadership, but goes down to minus 15, and that will see him off. And now it's pretty much up to Mazda Mundi and the Honor Guard of Hextall, but they've been putting this battle on their back for a super long time now. River Amaxon Barb still firing in, and the Ushabti Great Bow is firing in as well. Nice charge coming in from Flying Taco. Shut down the Ushabti Great Bows, and that will probably see them crumble. Now, crumbling works differently for the Tomb Kings in SFO. You won't see their HP bar drop, but their melee stats drop to pretty much 0. So they lose all their effectiveness from CQB. I don't know if that affects their range capabilities as well. It probably does because they're Tomb Kings. But Lord Mazda Mundi and the Amaxon Barb fighting back to back. Doing a good job of shutting down the Ushabti Great Bows, but the HQ that Aerocrastic set up back here around this Hyro Titan, I mean, how do you cut through 120 armor and 12,000 HP with what he has left? He has no missile fire left. Doesn't have much bonus versus large at all. The Honor Guard are getting worn down, surrounded by the constructs on the Tomb King's home turf. And it's going to be really hard to bring this one back. Barring some kind of miracle, I think Aerocrastic has game 1. Yeah, I mean, he has 2,000 HP. I don't know what he's supposed to do here. Stalkers are on target. Full surround off, and we're going to watch as his HP bar drop. It just plummets. It's just going to plummet. No, we're getting around it. It was 2,000. Now it's 1,000. Now he's routing. Now it's army losses, and that's going to be game, set, match for Aerocrastic. Well, we can watch this cute little doggo do a little bit of work before it all ends. I love this unit. America! Red, white, and blue. Such a cool looking unit, dude. Look how huge that thing is. It's like 3 times the size of an Ushabti Great Bow. And they're already big. Yeah, 54 melee defense only goes so far. These Honor Guard have been incredibly impressive, though. Up to 222 now. A lot of that on skeletons, obviously, but damn. They've been kicking ass and taking names and chewing bubblegum. And they're all out of gum. Hyro Titan strides to war. Tall Geese Gundam carries it, and that Hyro Titan pick was a good one. You occasionally see Hyro Titans against Lizardmen in that matchup. They can be a bit susceptible to Carnosaurs and the bonus versus large stuff, but there actually wasn't a whole lot from the Lizardmen in this battle. A lot of it was focused on that Ancient Stegodon on Mazda Mundi, and with that Scorpion Bolt Thrower that's on the back of the regular King Chief Stegodon. So he tried to fire that in. I believe it does have bonus versus large in this mod, but I mean, he got wrecked early. I don't know if he got a little bit too far away from the Honor Guard. I don't know if he wasn't getting that missile resist, but man, the thing got destroyed, and Apotheosis just wasn't enough healing to bring him back into the fight. But the Honor Guard of Hextall, holy lord. That legendary unit is, well, they live up to their name for sure. 223 kills, kept Mazda Mundi in the fight for a super long time, who almost racked up 400. Katep got sniped out early by the Amaxon Barb, I guess. I don't even know where he went. I didn't see him die. Hyro Titan got a Chevron with only 5 kills because he was fighting big dinos the whole battle. Ushabti Great Bows, oh my lord. Those 3 Chevrons, all earned from shooting the Stegodons and the Amaxon Barb. And the Stalkers used exactly how you want them to get used. Just patrol the back line. Anything that dives into the rear, surround it, chop it down, slice it up. Gotta be a good time. Tomb Kings played that really well, for sure. They kept that pocket protected for a long time, and when it finally became compromised, they swarmed in, got the surround off, got the Hydro Titan on the right targets, and the Honor Guard were not quite enough to carry that one. I don't know yet if the MX on Barb is worth its price. It's knifed out Katet, which is really good, and that allows Masamune to actually cast his spells, which is pretty important. But I don't know. I can't remember how much it costs. In terms of like a multiplayer meta in SFO, I have no idea what's good or bad. Obviously, I've played some of it, but there just aren't enough games to really define any kind of meta, which is kind of why we're doing here. Like, these kind of tournament games give us a much better indication of what you should be putting in your armies and what you shouldn't. GG. For the second map in the series, let me take a look. Where are we going to? We are going to Mouth of the Pass. We're going to Blackfire Pass, the other side of it. You have to go down 2 maps. Nice. Yeah, it's like 20 kills per model, and I believe they do have AoE attacks, which is why they were blending infantry so easily. Only 12 models, but that's what you see when you're talking about elite units in SFO. A lot of them, really small model count. I think like Grail Guardians, for example, are also 12. They also have AoE attacks. They can also rack up 200 to 300 kills a battle, for sure. So it makes those feel powerful. The downside is that it makes your army sometimes look very small, which is the flip side of that. Belcon is waiting for the winner of this series in the finals. He has already won his first series 2-0 against Hadries. So we'll be seeing whoever wins this series up against Falcon in the best of 5 finals next. Yeah, Aspiring Champions, another example. There are quite a few legendary units. And there's usually, I think, maybe like 1 per every 2 factions or so that are super low model count, but hyper elite. It's kind of a classification that doesn't really exist in the base game. And it looks like we might be going Chaos Beastmen. Let me verify if that's indeed what they picked. Yeah, they're going Chaos Beastmen and then Wood Elves Greenskins if it goes to Game 3. Chaos Beastmen. This should get interesting. Chaos has been massively reworked here. There are unique units for each god. Horned Berserkers are in, which are one of the things I'm most hyped for in Total War Warhammer 3. So wouldn't mind getting to see those bad boys in action. Venerating the Blood God. Skulls for the Skull Throne. And you can bring Chaos Dragons as a single entity. You don't have to bring that as a mount choice now. Quite a few different options for Chaos. Obviously, we've shown off the Beastmen, maybe more than any other faction in SFO, just because I love what they did with the rework, but you can go Doom Bull with a Mark of Khorne, Tzeentch, Slanesh, or Nurgle. You can go for the marked Beastmen units. So there's Khorne Gors, Zangors, Pestigors, and Slongors. And they have a lot of options, so I'm excited to see what they bust out in this one. What's the prize pool at? Right now, it's probably around 150, would be my guess. More are welcome, of course, but you guys just tuning in to watch is also super cool. So again, got 800 people on stream. Thank you all for showing up and joining me this wonderful evening. Tired of all the coronavirus bullshit. Would be nice to get back to normal. Life hasn't been that different for me. Just because I work from home anyway. This is what I do anyway. But for a lot of you guys, it's been very, very different. And so you spending your time with me today is greatly appreciated. Welcome, welcome, welcome. All right. Back here, we got Chaos Sorcerer with Lure of Shadows, Enfeebling Foe, and Pit of Shades with Melkoth Mystifying. Miasma. Oh, baby. Sliver Slash. Succulent. Sexual. It can slice an opponent 69 times and keep on stabbing. We got Siggy. Enchanting Beauty contact effect, the charmed contact effect on him, lowers melee attack and defense for anything that he stabs in melee combat, or 50 weapon strength, armor piercing, 128 armor. Take a look at this, dude. Let me look at that golden codpiece, Sigvald. God, he's so gorgeous. He's so hot right now, that damn Sigvald. So hot. So hot right now. He's got the Mark of Slanesh as well. So this is the Visions of Pleasure. Minus 25% AP damage, melee attack speed, miscast chance, weapon damage, in an AoE. Dude, Sigvald is completely reworked and badass in SFO Grimhammer. As the reflection of beauty, can pin an enemy lord or hero in place and lower their melee attack to 0. Oh! Long Johnson. Scary dude. And his Orc armor also replenishes vigor. Chaos Spawn in the back. Mirror Guard buffing him up as well. More of an all-arounder. Marauders in the front ranks. And some Marauder Horsemasters and Chaos Knights with lances. For the Beastmen, could it be? Do I see Pestigores? We do indeed. Nurgle Beastmen coming in. And they've got some cool effects as well. Rotten Regeneration gives them regen, but weakness to fire. Got the bolstered armor for armor and physical resist in an AoE. Ungor Herd, Korok's Man Rippers, 52 speed, Halberd unit. More transformation of Kadan Manticores. Nice charge coming from the Marauder Horsemasters. Chaos Spawn as well. And we've got a Beast Caster with a nice Flock of Doom on a huge swath of Chaos Cavalry. Destroyers the Drakwold in the rear. And we've got Morgor the Shadowgate for the Chaos Spawn summon. So, pretty similar build overall to what we saw from the Beastmen on Golden Monolith on Sigvald's home turf. And this is going to be football, dude. I think this battle is going to be over very, very quickly, one way or another. Chaos Spawn on both sides, charging in 213 weapon strength. They're going into the Pestigores, who should be able to make short work of the Marauders. The Chaos Spawn will start shifting that a little bit more in their favor. That's a Pit of Shades coming in from the Chaos Sorcerer. Oh, it's going to do some big damage to Korok's Man Rippers. We're at about 13,000 HP. Oh, that can take them down to near half. Near half off that Vortex. A little bit blobbed up on that side. Got to be careful about that. Sigvald going right in, trying to out-duel Morgor the Shadowgate if he can. Beautiful rear charge coming in from the Chaos Knights with lances. And already, Aerocrastic has a full surround off on this Beastmen army. But it's flipping. The Beastmen have a full surround off on Chaos. Korok's Man Rippers can go all the way behind, rear charge the Chaos Spawn and finish them off in seconds. Destroyers of the Drakwold are doing a good job of zoning out the Marauder Horsemasters so far. The Manticores already landed. I just realized they're giant Manticores, and they are indeed giant. They're about 3 times the size of those Chaos Knights. Holy God, they're massive. Look at the size difference. That's crazy. Pestigores are taking it out in the center like a boss, up to 30 kills. I thought they might get run over quick, but no. They've got 45 million defense, 84 armor, and regen. And there is a Wild Dragon Ogre that I guess I missed. Visions of Pleasure going down on it. Slowing it down, lowering its melee stats. Sigvald is a problem. He's going to outduel the crap out of Morgor the Shadowgate. And I think that Sigvald himself might be the biggest issue for the Beastmen to deal with. Can they take him down? Yeah, you have to save him for last. You can't just kill him outright. He's got the regen, the auric armor. But 2 melee attacks back-to-back from the Dragon Ogre. Beating up on Sigvald much better than I would have anticipated. Charmed Contact effect not helping him out too much at the moment. Morgor is alive and regenning. Chaos Warhounds and Chaos Knights in the rear. 42 kills on them. Then a nice rear charge into the Ungor Spear Herd. And another cycle charge might finish off the Pestigores as well. The Beastmen have enough mobility to prevent these Pestigores from... I don't know. He might not be able to bring them back. We'll see. He's losing a lot of his speed. Korok's Man Rippers, not sure they pay for themselves. That Pit of Shade really messed them up. Chaos Sorcerer getting stuck in too. Oh man, Sigvald surrounded. Flying Taco going for the Alpha Strike on him. I am super surprised to see this. Sigvald is getting wrecked right now. I was hyping him up so much and he is getting wrecked. But to be fair, it's Morgor, a Wild Dragon Ogre, and 2 giant Feral Manticores. And they're just going to chase him off the map. Or they're going to try to anyway. He does have some mobility here. The Marauder Horsemaster should be able to give him some cushion. And he will regen up to about 4,000 HP if he's left alive. So we'll watch that. Uh-oh! Pit of Shades on the Pestigores. Flying Taco will try to spread out a bit, but they're going to feel the effects of that one for sure. Jibbing a lot of them. The Chaos Sorcerer's got to be up to what now? Like, oh, it's over. This game's already over. Chaos has been completely buckled in melee. And he has not been able to protect Sigvald, who routed off from the main force. Ziggy's just going to be run down by the giant Feral Manticore. Might be able to tie it down finally, but it doesn't matter at this point. Army losses is about to kick in. And wow, decisive engagement for the Beastmen and for Flying Taco. Feral Manticore and the giant Feral Manticore teaming up and messing up. Oh, you know what it was? Is he weak to fire? No, he's not. Okay. First, I didn't realize it. The giant Feral Manticore has flaming attacks, which is a kind of chaosy mechanic, I guess. Blessed by the ruinous powers. They're all about that corruption, all about that transformation, and indeed, that extra flaming attack did help in a lot of those fights. But the Pestigores, the Beastmen, convincing win. Just kind of ran them over, football style. I wasn't expecting that. I wasn't expecting to see Sigvald die that early. I mean, he got swarmed there by the Feral Manticores and by the Wild Dragon Ogre, and it proved to be way too much, even with that Charm Contact effect, even with the Visions of Pleasure. I think he didn't have a strong showing there. He is a very strong Lord in SFO, though. I've seen him do serious work on multiple occasions. Today was not his day, and Flying Taco to tie that up 1-1. We're going into a game 3. Well played. Yeah, that was, well... Beastmen can do okay against Chaos. I'd say that's maybe a little bit Chaos favored if they go head-to-head in the base game. But certainly winnable for either side. The Pestigores were... They got Pit of Shaded. They got charged by Chaos Spawn. They just tanked it all out. That's what Pestigores are all about. That was a good pick. Just super tanky with that Rotten Regeneration in the center. Nothing to push through. Marauder Horsemasters were given chevrons, I think. I don't think they earned those. They just couldn't make the impact they wanted to. Flying Taco dealt with that full surround from Chaos very nicely. And the Wild Dragon Ogre with the Earthquake effect, he beat up on Siggy super quick. Armor Sundering helps a lot, that's for sure. James Radcliffe, do you think that some of the Chaos Gods will start in Game 3 launch and then DLC for the other two? I don't think it's going to be done like that. I don't think we're going to be seeing like DLC for, like DLC factions for them. Maybe Lord Packs for sure. You can definitely expect to see Lord Packs. How they'll match those up, I don't know. But, hold on 1 second here. Summer, no. Going Chagrath Strand for Game 3. Yeah, in terms of the factions for Warhammer 3, I think if you do 2 Chaos Gods and then leave 2 for DLC, I don't think people will like that very much. I think that's going to be a little bit weird. But there are so many sub-factions and things to think about when it goes into Warhammer 3 that it's really hard to know how they're going to handle it. Which is kind of a cop-out answer. I've talked about what I think I'll see in videos. I'd like to see all 4 Chaos Gods represented on launch day, but not with all their lords, not with all their units. Just kind of like the baseline stuff, and the Lord Packs flesh that out more. But it's really hard to know how they're going to handle that. Chagrath Strand. And we're going Greenskins and Wood Elves. Wood Elves, I've been showing them off a lot in videos recently. Big overhaul for them. Pretty much rest assured, you'll see some of that armor-piercing light cav, the Glade Striders. Really cool unit. Pretty powerful, too. We did get a donation during that battle as well. Let me take a look. Mr. Pig coming in with the $50. Here's some for the prize pool. Thank you very much, my friend. Much appreciated. Awesome stuff. Thank you guys for the support. Alright. What's chat saying right now? We got 836 on stream. Kislev is probably the only halfway decent sided faction that'll be new on launch. Indy, you are a true homie. Hope you're keeping healthy during all this. You're giving me some lovely content to watch in isolation. Thank you, John Smith. That is the point. This kind of thing is always really fun for me. Like, the tournaments are... Well, this one was not hard to set up at all, dude. We got 4 people playing right now. Like, it's really not too difficult. But it's fun to interact with you guys. It's fun to get these kind of competitive things going on. And honestly, SFO doesn't get played in tournaments very often, so it's kind of nice to get a change of pace. I like vanilla a lot. I think that in terms of competitive balance, it probably is a little bit more balanced than SFO, but it doesn't quite have the spectacle. So there's a trade-off there, but it's a good one. And that's what I love about mods. And one thing that I wish people realized more is that it really doesn't matter whether you're into the whole, like, well, I really love mods, or I really hate mods, that mod sucks, this mod, whatever. Like, I play vanilla, and I play mods because they offer a different experience. Not because one is better than the other. I want a different experience, and SFO Grimhammer certainly offers that. So do a lot of other mods. Kataf, wonderful, Southern Realms mod, faction overhauls, Mixu with his Lord mods, all that stuff just adds more content to the game, more replayability. Why we do it. If I was just doing vanilla from day one until now, almost 3 years on, maybe, I think we just passed 3 years. Maybe it's 2.5, I don't know, something like that. Since launch day, I would definitely be super bored. But the mods really help out with the longevity of the game. What the whole point of it is. Not a better or worse thing, just a different thing. Okay. Wow, look at that balance bar. This is definitely true for SFO. True to an extent in vanilla for Beastmen and a few other factions, but generally it's never this much. Balance bar is relatively irrelevant at the start of a game, but some factions really, really give you a huge weight on that balance bar. What else apparently, or at least these Grove Guardians. Ooh. Alright. They're super loud, so I'm not going to stay zoomed in on them. But look at that stat line. That's scary, dude. He's got 2 of them. So, it's a army of treemen, essentially. They're the offensive variant of treekin. They're not as good as treemen. They're more like treekin. They give you bonus for infantry, they give you magical attacks, they give you more aggressiveness in melee, as opposed to the very defensive and very high HP treekin that have like 14,000 HP in this mod. Yeah, they have like 25% more HP than Grove Guardians. So Dryads have gone for the Oak aspect, plus 15% physical resist, plus 5 melee defense, but they lose some speed. Gone Oak on both those. Oak all the way across the board. Physical resist and melee defense. I think it's a good choice against Greenskins if you want to hold out against the wall. Deepwood Scouts with Swift Shiver Shards in the front ranks have magical attacks to cut through the physical resist. And for the Greenskins, we've got a Giant, a Savage Giant, which has that Mortis-like effect under his feet. And that Beastmen Roar, or the Giant Roar, that is unique to this Giant. It does Savage Roar, minus 25% miscast chance, weapon damage, and AP. Got some Mogrov's Mangy Marauders. Nice charge coming out of the woods from the Wild Riders. Spirit Leech going down as well. Azag on the hunt, trying to mess up those Wild Riders at the start. Sisters of the Thorn breaking from the tree line as well. And we've got a huge melee grind already going in. Savage Orc Boar Boys. Mel Gibson charging in from the flank, causing terror. Look at that stat line on him. Huge Hounds of Orion. Sisters of the Thorn going down and immediately breaking the Savage Orc Boar Boy Big Guns. They're going to break almost immediately off that charge. More are coming in now, though. And Wah is probably going to pop. Yeah, Wah pops right now. So already, Night Goblins, those are the 8-peak loonies, and the Black Orcs with shields are into melee. There's a Giant in the center that's not being focused down at all. So those Dryads are going to get pooped on. But Flesh to Stone prevents entities from dying while the effect is active, and gives them plus 40 armor. So that'll keep them way tanky and way more survivable. Only lost 12 models fighting a Giant so far. That's pretty crazy. Soulblight going down in the rear. Big charge coming in from the Savage Orc Boar Boy Big Guns. And Azag is fighting alongside. Got a Hounds of Orion and Hawk's Talon dropping in too. Deepwood Scouts have been untouched so far. But uh-oh. Forest Goblin Spider Riders coming in from the rear, and there's nothing back here. This could get nightmarish for Aerocrastic real quick if the Grove Guardians don't push through, but he does have some in the back there to protect them. I'm not sure they're mobile enough, though. Wild Riders have been run off. Greenskins handled them so effectively. Really well played from the Savage Wah. They're going to run them off of the map. The Dryads now isolated. Oak aspect, regrowth, keeping them in the fight for a while. But some of these Deepwood Scouts are going to get run down. It's inevitable. And Azag is back there too. And maybe too much mobility was invested on this side from Aerocrastic. And he's lost the majority of it. So now, protecting his back line, gotta be pretty difficult against all this cav and light cavalry that still remains for the Greenskins. 3 units of Deepwood Scouts all shut down. Oh no. The archers are dead. And that's going to make dealing with the Giant so much more difficult. Grove Guardians fighting out in melee with Black Orcs. They're going to take it out for a while. They're up to 12 kills, which is not very much. And so far, this is looking a little bit disastrous for the Azrai, the Wood Elves. Getting barrel rolled, steamrolled at the moment. But do they have what it takes to bring it back? Orion is going to be really hard to bring down. Spirit Leech is the only effective way he has to deal consistent HP damage. But he's isolated and surrounded. Awakening of the Wood awakens my Wood. Trying to push back the 4th Goblin Spider Riders. They get terrified. But he has... I mean, how do you deal with this giant? It's not been hurt at all. It's got 14,000 HP, dude. How do you kill it? Wood Elves are losing everywhere we move the camera. Dryads surrounded. Like, they may have had the bounce bar advantage at the start, but only 4 minutes in and things are not looking good for the Azrai at all. Grove Guardians. Flesh of Stone's active, but they break. Nice Hounds of Orion. He's up to 120 kills. I don't think it's enough. Flying Taco's been dominant in this third. Yeah, it's over. It's just over. He just concedes. Wow. Greenskins out of nowhere. Swarming in. The light cab play with the 4th Goblin Spider Riders was perfect. Executed so well. Killed off all those archers. And without those, how do you kill the giant? This build just can't do it. Grove Guardians can't. Orion maybe could in a 1v1. But, I mean, the Dryads got run over. Oak Aspect kept them a little bit tankier. The Refuse to Die ability from Flesh of Stone was nicely played. But if you can't keep the archers alive, you're going to be in for a rough time. Black Orcs, the shields were the right choice, 100%. Azag on Skull Muncho, right choice, 100%. And the Forest Goblin Spider Rider ambush. These two units, some of the cheapest units on the field, talked about why they're one of the most undervalued units in the game. Incredibly good for the price. They gobbled up the back line. They goblined up the back line. From there, it was all downhill for the Wood Elves. Even the Savage Orc Boar Boys kicked some serious ass. Really nicely played. Giants didn't get to do a whole lot. Kind of just walked in, beat up a few Dryads, and they popped Refuse to Die on Flesh to Stone, but it wasn't needed. Even if everything else died. How do you kill that monster? Would have been pretty difficult. Nicely played from XMT Flying Taco. That will send Aerocrastic out. And that means we've got an XMT Finals, boys. Falcon and Flying Taco with the best of 5 coming right up. Weston Sammy just pointed out that a couple of the Vanguard units actually deployed on top of each other, which I did not realize, did not catch that. That's insane. That's pretty crazy. Gerald, hey Indy, this is kind of off topic, but since I just watched Astartes Part 5, what are the best Warhammer 40k novels to really get into the lore? Thanks for all the awesome entertainment. There are 2 Horus Heresy novels that I think are amazing. I think you should probably start with the first trilogy. I think that the trilogy omnibus is called Galaxy in Flames or Horus Rising. The novels are Galaxy in Flames, Horus Rising, and there's a third one. There's an omnibus. If you just search Galaxy in Flames, Horus Heresy, omnibus, it should come up. Those are great. But the best novel in the series that I've read so far, hands down, is First Heretic. It goes back to the origins of Chaos, goes back to the origins of Erebus and the impact he plays on the Horus Heresy. First Heretic and then Betrayer. Those two go hand in hand. They're both by Aaron Dembski-Bowden. Incredibly good novels. You don't even need like 40k to like those novels. They're really, really damn good. And any of those novels that go kind of into the mysticism, the otherworldly spiritual nature of demons, get me hyped. There's no getting around it. Those novels are super good. Super fun. Read those for sure. First Heretic. Might even be a good one to start with, to be honest. I read the omnibus first, though. Really like that. Night Lords trilogy, also Aaron Dembski-Bowden, super good. Alos Valkyran, man. He's a badass, dude. Okay, I gotta change the map. We're going Falcon and Flying Taco, both XMT. We're on the Isle of the Crimson Skull. Yeah, I want to say thank you to both Aerocrastic and Hadries for putting on great performances. You guys did awesome. Well, we got XMT in the finals. I liked No Fear. I liked it. I didn't love it. I thought that Dan Abnett's style in that series was a little bit weird. It wasn't bad. It was different. I liked that about it. It was well written. But he has a weird style, a weird perspective on how he writes in that one that is different than anything I've ever seen before. I don't really know how to describe it. And the Ultramarines are not the most interesting of the Space Marine chapters, let's just say that. I kind of like the Chaos Space Marines because they bring more personality to bear, which makes sense. It's kind of about embracing the hedonism, the losing all the essentially they just care about themselves a lot more than anybody else. So the Chaos Space Marines have more room to experiment and do things that are considered more human. Astartes that are fighting for the Emperor, not so much. Not that they're not ever interesting, but No Fear was solid for sure. And there's some anthologies that are connected to that as well. Mark of Calth, Underground War, really interesting ones there. Yeah, I find Night Lords to be one of the most interesting by far, because they're also not beholden to any god. So if you're talking like World Eaters or Thousand Suns, maybe not so much Thousand Suns, but definitely World Eaters, they're very much in the grips of Khorne, which is a little bit one-dimensional. Not that Khorne the Betrayer isn't awesome, not that Angren isn't awesome, but they're a bit one-dimensional. When you're talking Night Lords, they're not beholden to any particular Chaos God. They don't even really like the Chaos Gods. So they can also spread their tendrils and do things that other Chaos-specific legions wouldn't be able to do. Oh, I hated Fulgrim. I despised that novel. Grayscale Plaid. Theaphis Kane, hero of the Imperium, is unhappy about his exclusion from this list. I've not read it. I have not read it yet. Have not read that, have not read Gaunt's Ghosts. There are a few 40k novels I have not gotten in touch yet. A fair few. Thank you for the donation, my friend. Much appreciated.
Fortune favors the infamous.
I think Fulgrim was the worst Horus Heresy novel I've read up to this point. It was... I don't think it was very well written. And I'm not trying to hate on the author too much. I think... Was it Graham McNeil? I can't remember. He's written some great novels. Fulgrim was bad because literally all he wrote about was... The perfection of my Emperor's Children Legion. We are perfectly moving in perfect synchronicity, dancing in a perfect world. Like, shut up, dude. I get it. Look at a thesaurus and figure out some new words to explain what they're doing. Like, it was just, he just shoved it in your face over and over. And it's exactly the same thing if you'd expect like a World Eaters novel if the author just talked about how angry Khorne was all the time. Like, dude, I get it. Write about something else. Like, I understand it's an important aspect of who they are, but there are ways to write that so that you don't, like, shove it in the reader's face. I think Fulgrim was a poorly written novel. But in terms of Warhammer Fantasy, if you want to read a good novel, there are quite a few. Gotrek and Felix is obviously fantastic. If you've not read those anthologies, if you've not read the omnibuses there are 15 or so. Those are fantastic. Runner the Bounty Hunter wasn't actually my favorite, but I think a lot of you would really like it. It's a great introduction to the Warhammer world. I think Brunner is really good if you want to be introduced to the series because it's a character that you don't know, but he kind of goes everywhere, does everything, shows off all the deepest, darkest elements of what Warhammer Fantasy is all about. I think Brunner the Bounty Hunter is a pretty good place to start as well. Did not read Empire Knight. I did like Tyrion and Teclis. I've not finished that, actually. Perfectly, magnificently, gloriously, impossibly perfect. Yeah, that's pretty much how pretty much how Fulgrim went the entire novel. Although I did really like the cameo from Ulthwé, from Craft World Ulthwé. That was pretty badass. Okay, we're into game 1 of the finals. This is a best of 5 series. We've got XMT Falcon with the Empire of Man, the Imperium, channeling Sigma. On the other side, oh, Long Johnson. Could it be? Oh, he's called. Oh, Nakai. He's dropping the hammer. He's putting the line down. The line in the sand. The line must be drawn here. It's Nakai the Wanderer. 65 melee attack, 600 weapon strength. He's a monster. He just called out the Empire. You saw that. We all saw it. He's rolling alongside the cohort of Sotek, Skink cohort, a front line of Skinky boys. Oh. Is it? Could it be? Could it be a dreaded Saurian? Clever girl. 850 weapon strength. Oh my god. And transformation of Kadon. With a Skink Priest of the Lore of Beasts. Croxagors in the back. Not Blessed. Feral Cold Ones. Skink cohort on the flanks. And a Blessed Carnosaur with a Blessing of Huanchi, which means plus melee attack and stalk and speed. That thing is moving at 108 speed. Definitely balanced, boys. Definitely. A stalking 108 speed Carnosaur. 100% balanced. Okay, Wolfkin in the front ranks. Midland kind of counterpart of Flagellants for the Empire. We've got a Hellblaster Volley Gun wrecking the front ranks so far. Knights of the White Wolf. We're going for a Midland-themed army here. Is this Boris Todbringer in the... No, it's Karl Franz. Karl Franz on Deathclaw, as you would expect. Wolfkin, Tattersouls, just an unbreakable front line. Literally, an entirely unbreakable front line with Knights of the White Wolf in support. And a Jade Wizard and an Amber Wizard with Transformation of Kadon. Karl Franz and Deathclaw has his Reikland Runefang and Gal Moraz. And it looks like he's trying to get aggressive early. Not to be scared of that Dread Saurian. He's done no damage to it whatsoever. But now the Outrider Focus Fire will come in. And he'll try to take it down quick. Hellblaster Volley Gun already up to 30 kills. Wrecking those cohort of Sotek. Karl Franz diving in. And the Blessed Horn Ones were stalked. Oh, Karl Franz, you might be dead if you don't get out of there ASAP. Oh, God. He didn't know they were there. Blessing of Huanchi is OP. That stock on Carnosaurs and Horn Ones is OP. Huge Flock of Doom. Big Focus Fire coming in from 3 Outriders. And we're getting a huge blob. Pan's Impenetrable Pelt, giving him a ward save and missile resist, but already Dread Saurian breaking. That's the problem with the Feral Dread Saurian. Really low leadership. Needs to get that back under control if he can with Cold-Blooded or something. Transformation of Kadon coming in. That'll be able to push back these Outriders, which is a really good idea. Karl Franz is fine, dude. Nakai is not fine. Nakai is getting gooned up on super fast. Dude, we're 2 minutes in and it already feels like this battle might be over soon. We'll see. So far, the Empire's enjoying these engagements. Nakai the Wanderer completely surrounded. Oh my god, that regrowth. Well-timed on Karl Franz. Got him back up to full HP, and I thought it might be a nightmare situation for Falcon, but where's the Carnosaur at? I don't see the stalking Carnosaur. Lizardmen are just breaking. Dude, what just happened? What just happened? I just blinked, and it was over. What? I can't commentate that, dude. I don't even know what to say. I don't know what just happened. It's just over. Like, it's literally army losses. It's just over. Alright. This takes a lot for me to say, because I'm doing it on stream, and I don't want to say that it was bad. That was not a very good battle. Not at all. It must have just been the perfect build. It must have just been the perfect build, the perfect counter. I don't know what to say. Lizardmen just got raffle stomped. Now, that is not indicative of what this matchup normally looks like. That is the first time I've ever seen that. I guess he routed the Dread Saurian, and when the Dread Saurian routed, and he had no way to bring it back, it just ended the game. But like his whole front line, like these Wolfkin, the Flagellants, they butchered the Skink cohort, man. They butchered them, like. Alright. We'll shake that one off. Hopefully that will not be indicative of this entire series. That was really just frankly bizarre. I'm learning stuff alongside you guys. The battles up to this point have been good. That was just weird. Like, the Blessed, or the Feral Dreadsaurian routed immediately, which made sense. Outrider Enflamed Fire coming in was perfect. I mean, Falcon set that up super nice. But then Karl Franz went in, Transformation of Kadan went in, they swarmed him, like, Nakai got gangbanged, there's no other way to put it, and from there it was just mass rout city. Unbreakable Wolfkin, do well against Skink cohort for sure. Now, generally speaking, these guys will not be great against like a more robust infantry line. Here, they were perfect. I mean, they are a straight up counter to Skink cohort, who are very squishy and aren't particularly tanky either, so you just went into melee, ran through them with the Tattersouls. Knights of the White Wolf didn't need to do a whole lot. Outriders got the Enflamed Fire full surround off the Dreadsaurian, and it's game, set, match. Alright, that's game one. Alright then. Nakai got surrounded. He got spit roasted by a Feral Manticore behind him and Karl Franz and Deathclaw in front. When you pop Gal Miraz and all that, I mean, you didn't have the support there anymore because the Dreadsaurian broke off. The Horned ones melted immediately. Something. And that was it. Okay. Empire OP. Yeah, so that is one thing to keep in mind. The Dreadsaurian, and this is true in vanilla as well, Dreadsaurian is a very good unit. I think it's a bit risky to bring against Empire because they have so much artillery, so much armor-piercing focus fire. It can be extremely good game-breaking in some matchups. There's been a kind of a meme that the Dreadsaurian's bad. It's not, hasn't been bad, really, ever. It was just maybe a little bit tricky to use at one point, but in the right build at the right time, very strong. Can solo army sometimes, but if your opponent is waiting for it, like he was there, Falcon was ready for that Dreadsaurian, then it can be kind of useless, and it was there for sure. I mean, that's just counterplay in a nutshell. That just came down to builds. I think Flying Taco could have played that perfectly and still would have lost. That just came down to builds. Okay, Stallion Tomb for game number 2. Flying Taco, lol, I'm so confused. I don't know if he's listening to stream or not, but I'm right there with you, man. Alright, Cyber Pantsy, thanks for joining, man. Let me see if there were any more donations that came in that I might have missed. I don't think so. Yeah, he didn't have anything for the Outriders, but dude, I don't know. I feel like a Dreadsaurian is a pretty risky play against the Empire. There are some factions in vanilla you just don't bring it against. I feel like the Empire is one of them. Dwarfs are certainly one of them. Any faction that has a lot of bonus for large and long-range armor-piercing damage. Tomb Kings can be, but...
Fortune favors the infamous.
Karl Franz, Emperor of Mankind, chosen of Sigma, with faith, steel, and gunpowder, the lizards have been vanquished. This does have my consent. P.S. Don't forget to like PSS. The Empire isn't OP enough. Not biased at all. Karl Franz was quite happy to see Karl Franz's performance in that battle. I can't imagine why. Yeah, with 110 speed, the Carnosaur could have shut it down, but then you don't have anything to deal with Karl Franz in the Goon fight. I didn't see where the Feral Carnosaur, not the Feral Carnosaur, the Blessed Carnosaur, I didn't see where it went in that grind. Got Heineken is here. Thanks for streaming the SFO content, you sexy human of Sigmar. I am indeed very sexy. Thank you very much, man. Much appreciated. Lesson Sammy. One thing important to mention, the Dreadsaurian is like, what? Yeah, it's... I think what he's saying, I've not read the comment yet, is that it's very expensive, so you don't...
Fortune favors the infamous.
Yeah, it is a huge swing on the balance bar, but the balance bar doesn't really matter until Army Loss starts kicking. So, it rounded early. If you're able to bring the Dreadsaurian back, you should be able to stabilize there. But, I mean, dude, I thought Karl Franz was just dead. Honestly, I thought he was dead. He was surrounded by a Dreadsaurian, the Carnosaur, the Horned Ones, and by Nakai. He got caught out. Falcon got caught out by the stock units. The Blessed Horned Ones and the Blessed Carnosaur. He did not see them until the last moment. Karl Franz was in a horrible position, but he dropped a regrowth at the right time and just kind of tanked it out. And I think what happened there is some of the units that he gave attack orders on Karl Franz ended up attacking other random bullshit. Which is not ideal if you want to kill Karl Franz. Because there's no way he should have been as healthy as he was at the end if they were all attacking him. A Dreadsaurian and a Blessed Carnosaur together with Nakai, they're all like 600 plus weapon strength. Like, Karl Franz should not be around very long. And he can't get knocked down, so he's not getting knockdown immunity. Because he's on Deathclaw. Yeah, you got healed by regrowth, but usually regrowth is not going to be enough to let you survive a Dreadsaurian, a Blessed Carnosaur, and Nakai? There's no way. They either missed a lot of attacks, or they weren't attacking the right thing. Which could have been Flying Taco's fault, or it could have been he gave attack orders and they just decided to attack something else, which happens, fortunately, a lot more than I'd care to admit. Did I? I think I covered both the donations that just came in. Heineken is here. Thanks for streaming the SFO content. Yeah, I did that one. Thank you, Heineken. Much appreciated. And I did the Karl Franz, Emperor of Mankind. Also, thank you. I think I got both. Unless there's a donation that came through on PayPal that I didn't notice. Anyway, we're going into game 2. It looks like Skaven and Beastmen on a Stallion tomb. Get this thing popping off. Yeah, no, I think I got them all. Unless there was one much earlier. Oh. Yeah, I got them all. No, a Carnosaur is definitely a duelist. Unless you're talking about something else. Carnosaur is most certainly a anti-large specialist that specializes in killing single entities that are large, like Deathclaw. Dreadsaurian... it's both. A Dreadsaurian has 850 weapon strength in SFO Grimhammer, and its job is really to just tank, go in, cause terror everywhere, but it's one of the best cav and single entity killers in the game as well. It doesn't have bonus versus large, but when you're talking 850 weapon strength, you don't need it. That's much higher than even a Carnosaur has with its bonus versus large. Okay. Oh, Falcon. Yeah, he was talking about this before the tournament. Okay, so what he's doing here, boys. This is an unbreakable Skaven build. Now, this also is a death ball, and also might be very, very strong against Beastmen. We'll see. He's got the Poison Wind Mortars in the back, but really, it's all about the Plague Monk Sensor Bearers and the Plague Monks, who are all unbreakable in SFO. The trade-off is their melee defense is super low at only 20. But their physical resist is... Actually, no, it's 10, yeah, it's only 10%. So it's... What he's going to do here, and this is kind of a similar build to what you'll see in Vanilla, but they aren't unbreakable there. You see the Blightscab's Plague Pack with their Demagoguery, AoE, immune to Psych, and then a Death Squad, a Death Star of... Normally it's Skrulk. He's gone for Ikit Claw here with Warp Lightning and Howling Warp Gale and a Helping Abomination. So he's going to keep it high and tight, and he's just going to Death Ball it. He's going to go right up the center, and there's not going to be a lot of micro with this build. He's going to run in and try to outmaneuver or out-bully him in melee combat. Just shove the Beastman's head in the toilet, give him a nasty little swirly. He's got the Plague Priest with the summons, the Plague Monk summons, and Vermintide. Wait, no, that's Pestilent Birth, or Pestilent Breath, rather. It doesn't have Vermintide, just the Plague Monk summons. Yeah, we have capped it so you can only bring one summon spell per faction. And then the Sensor Bears will be the Armor Piercing. For the Beastmen and Flying Taco, Bray Shaman of the Lore of Beasts in the back lines. It's hard not to go for Transformation of Kadan here. Wild Dragon Ogre, the Butchers of Kalkengard, bunch of Chaos Spawn, and some Ungor Raiders in the back, this is kind of the linchpin of the build, ironically enough. These guys are what are needed to kill that HPA. Keeping them alive against the Plague Wind Mortars, that'll be difficult though, so we might want to keep them back and hidden and stalked so they don't get torn to shreds. He needs that shooting potential to take down the HPAs. So the Plague Monk Sensor Bears and the Plague Monks are going to go right in. Wicked Claw is dismounted. Big charge. Oh, Long Johnson. Oh, Don Piano. That is an Earthquake summoned by a Wild Dragon Ogre, and it killed half that unit and most of their HP in a single cast. Oh my god. That was so glorious. Alright. That was pretty crazy. Alright, so let me make sure stream's still going. I think I had an internet hiccup here. Should be fine. Yeah, we're good. Alright. Lost chat for a minute, but we're good. Alright, so Chaos Spawn are going into melee now. Plague Monks are fighting it out. Wild Dragon Ogre and HPA are duking it out. And what I think he needs to do is get rid of that Plague Priest and the Plague Monk summons. Those are a problem for sure. Beastmen are swarming. They're deathballing too. I mean, this is just straight melee grind on both sides. Another Warp Lightning raining down. And that can actually do good damage against single entities too. That's a kind of underutilized aspect of that spell. Big Doomsphere coming in from Wicked Claw on top of the Pestigors, which I did not catch. So they're going to get beaten up by that. They're very blobbed up. Not actually taking that much damage. Oh, okay, there we go. There we go. That did about 2,000 damage at least. Good Focus Fire coming in on the Plague Monk Sensor Bears. They only have 10 armor and 10% physical resist, so Focus Fire is going to be real nice from them. Wicked Claw fighting in the center. A beautiful flame attack going straight in on the enemy infantry. Wild Dragon Ogre, another Earthquake going off. And that Focus Fire is definitely going to start paying dividends on this Hell Pit Abomination. Chaos Spawn are a great choice here. Beastmen are doing great in this engagement so far. They've gotten all the right fights. Chaos Spawn in amongst the Plague Monks are going to tear them up because they have that high base weapon strength, 220 in fact, and more Warp Lightning raining down. Block of Doom to hit a bunch of the Skaven line, and the Plague Monks are just not holding out particularly well. I mean, it's a full Unbreakable army, but Unbreakable doesn't matter when you're all dead. So he can't manipulate leadership, but he can manipulate your HP bar, and that's what Flying Taco's doing really well with at the moment. Hell Pit Abomination is up to 31 kills. It's on top of the Chaos Spawn, which is what you want from it. Oh, the Butchers of Kalkengard, they're going to be in amongst the Plague Monks in seconds. But he can't protect his Ungor Raiders, not anymore. Not until he gets these Ungor Herd over here. He sees this. He could get a sandwich off, though. I don't know what the hell that is. Oh my god, look at that blob. What are they doing? Someone Doomsphere that. Send them to the Netherrealm. Wild Dragon Ogre and the Butchers of Kalkengard coming back. Another Earthquake, and that thing's up to 212 kills, man. Wild Dragon Ogre is kicking ass and taking names. Borger is untouched. Where's Wicked Claw at? Over here? Yeah, he's surrounded. But actually, Skaven are starting to look strong here. It might be stabilizing a bit. We might have a game here, folks. Oh, especially if that Brace Shaman goes down. He's completely surrounded by all that AP. 53 melee attack on Plague Monk Sensor Bears. Brace Shaman is just dead. He's just dead. He won't be coming back. Alright, Falcon's still in this one. Wild Dragon Ogre with an attack from the rear. Butchers of Kalkengard collapsing in. There is going to be that Mortis Drain from the Plague Priest, but now it's surrounded. It's terrified. It's routing. And the Butchers of Kalkengard will be hot on its heels. Wild Dragon Ogre going to take on 2 HPAs? That's going to be a tough fight for sure. Feral Manticore coming in. It looks like the Plague Priest will survive. It looks like it will come back to the fight. The player's playing pretty well, but this is definitely shifting in the Beastmen's favor. Icket is completely surrounded here, and he just broke. He's exhausted. He's terrified. He's completely surrounded. Chaos Spawn beginning to drop, but the HPAs are too. And I think this is going to be army losses soon as well. Army losses won't be a big deal because it's unbreakable. Oh, but too horrible to die, Prox. How much HP to get back? Not. Oh. Falcon got unlucky there. Palpit Abomination got no health back. He died instantly when that procced. And now the Dragon Ogre can easily deal with the rest of this HPA. This one got some health, but only a teeny bit. That's going to be the game. Pestigor's up to 89 kills. Oh man, it's a bloodbath over here. Murdering some Plague Monks. They're going to finish them off. That'll be the end for the Skaven and for Falcon. It looks like Flying Taco about to tie this one up 1-1. Really well played. God, that Wild Dragon Ogre. 244 kills. He did his homework. He knew what that Earthquake could do. It's super good against low armor, compact formations of infantry, like Plague Monks. He like one-shot that unit when he charged in. Beautiful. That was absolutely gorgeous. Alright, so it's looking like might be the end here. Yeah, it's just a handful of Plague Monks left. 51 kills on them. He's gonna concede. Alright, Flying Taco ties that up 1-1. Alright, so looking at the kills here, Pestigor's 98 kills, 276 was the final on the Wild Dragon Ogre, 66 kills on the Butchers of Kalkengard, 147 on the Chaos Spawn, almost 100 on the Pestigors as well. And Flying Taco, he was ready. He was straight up ready for this Unbreakable kind of build. He had all the answers for it. So, cheeky play from Falcon. Taco knew what he was doing to counter it, though. It's not a bad idea. I mean, think about one of the worst things about the Skaven. It's their leadership, right? The fact that they mass route all the time. This is a great way, a thematic way, to mitigate that issue. The downside is you have no armor, very compact formations, very susceptible to getting blown up by stuff like the Earthquake from the Wild Dragon Ogre, which is kind of a staple pick from what I've seen. I mean, it's just, it gives the Beastmen the one thing they lack. It basically fills the role of a Gorgon. Doesn't have the regen that a Gorgon would have, but it has the bonus force large, the armor piercing, and the speed, the mobility the Beastmen need to deal with large single entities. Normally, it's the one thing they struggle against, and that and terror, which kind of comes hand in hand. They can't deal well with dragons and the like, but a Wild Dragon Ogre fills that gap until we get a Gorgon, why it was added. So this thing right here, Beast, harried him, but everything else was used really well too. Chaos Spawn are a great choice against Plague Monks. They're also unbreakable, and they tear them up because they got 220 weapon strength. Demagoguery is a good idea. This is the Death Ball kind of build you'd see from Plague Monks. Not exactly like this in vanilla, but similar idea. 2 HPAs, a lot of Plague Monks, but in this case, Beastmen had their number, and we're going into game 3. Give me 1 second here. I gotta deal with a technical difficulty. I don't know why, but the internet on my laptop, which is what I use as my secondary stream for checking the chat, is gone out. So I need to figure that out real quick. I'll be right back. Alright. Figured it out. I don't know why that happens. It's really annoying. The Wi-Fi in this house is actually terrible. For some reason. My internet connection is amazing. I have terabyte internet. Like, it's super damn good. But only when I'm plugged into the wall. I can't plug into the wall with both my laptop and my computer. So my laptop, I might say about like twice every stream, it'll just crap out on the internet connection and I lose chat, so I had to fix that. But it's fixed now. I really need a second screen, is what I need. Probably gonna buy that soon. Oh, map. Okay, yeah. So we're going on to the map now. The third map is going to be Bay of Corsairs Inland. I do not have a second monitor. No, I'm a pleb, dude. I'm also still rocking a... God, what is this? This is a 1080p monitor that I used as my college TV back in 2010. This is literally a decade old. It's Insignia. It was very cheap. It's a very nice monitor. Like, it looks good. But one of the things I'm upgrading when I get my new GPU and my new monitor and all that... Well, monitor will be one of the things I get. When I get the new GPU that can actually, like, run games in 1440p... I'll get a monitor that's 1440p, and then this one will probably become my second screen, and the new 1440p monitor will be my main one. I don't know if that's an issue, if there's compatibility problems of running 1440p on one and 1080p on the other. Hopefully not. I don't want to have to buy two 1440p monitors that are both, like, really nice, because they're pretty damn expensive. But, yeah. For right now, we're rocking one screen, my dude. No, I mean terabyte. It doesn't actually give you terabyte internet, but it's maybe I don't know. I think terabyte internet's a thing. I don't know. It's the one that's I have no idea. I actually have no idea. It's the one that gives you really fast speeds, my guy. So, Bay of Corsairs Inland, it's looking like we're looking at Avalorn and Greenskins. Yeah, it probably is Gigabyte. Well, no, so see, fiber does not necessarily give you 1K up down. Not necessarily. I had fiber optic in my old house, and it was actually not that good. My uploads would typically be like 20 minutes, maybe? Here, the upload's in about 30 seconds. It's the processing that takes a while, but the processing is all done on YouTube server side. So I don't control any of that. I can upload a siege, like a 40-minute siege, in like 2 minutes. So the internet connection itself is amazing when I'm plugged into the wall. The Wi-Fi is terrible. Yeah, we're out on the edge of the known world in Virginia a bit, but this place is just a bunch of server farms and stuff. Not very densely populated at all, but what it does have is very good internet. It's kind of been on the forefront of that in Loudoun County. That is one of the things I dislike about America the most, though. How little we've invested in internet infrastructure, and I guess there's an element that says it's hard to do because yeah, we're 3,000 miles from coast to coast, but really there's no excuse for it. Like the year is 2020. Like everyone, if we didn't have like the Comcasts of the world and the Verizons and all the multimedia conglomerates, like everyone would already have fiber optic internet by now. But there's some really shady business practices that go on with price fixing and stuff in some of the more rural areas. It's bad. America is trying its hardest to not be a first world country. It's trying really damn hard. Alright, Avalorn. We've already seen it. Falcon is busting out the High Elves again. Looking pretty similar to the build we already saw, but this time there's a new kid on the block. It's the Dragon Princes in puke green. Oh, just absolutely exquisite. Gorgeous. They're gorgeous. They're about what you'd expect. Oh, is this happening right now? It is. I don't know if I want to spoil it yet, in case the greenies are listening. But Dragon Princes have a unique ability called Azure Trample Them. So they get more charge acceleration, more charge bonus. They go in. They also have Dragon Prowess. Gives their melee stats an even bigger boost. Strong Vigor as well. Pretty damn good. Them and the Star Dragon and Alariel, really important. Full Vanguard though. Dryads, Shadow Warriors, Illyrian Reavers, all up on the flank. Flying Taco with the Greenskins. Front line of Black Orcs with shields, goblins, chevroned up, Savage Orc Boar Boys everywhere. Azag on Skullmuncher yet again. Greenskins have been a popular pick today. And we've got the Arachnarok Queen, Shelob, as well. Looking fearsome as ever. Alright, so the game is going to start here, and I don't think the Greenskins were expecting. I don't think they were expecting this kind of thing. Not at all. This is a full Vanguard build, all up on the flank, but he's got space. He's got a lot of space to maneuver, and he's going to be able to deal with this for sure, in terms of positioning anyway. So, the element of surprise is already lost. I mean, he's not able to get any closer than that in terms of deployment. Just has to go in now. Question is, can the Greenskins deal with Dragon Princes and all this cav? They've got some good answers. I mean, Savage Orc, Boar Boy Big Guns, like 59 weapon strength, but very little melee defense of only 15. Gonna be difficult for them. Dragon Princes get their full charge off, they're gonna die super quick. But there are ways to deal with them for sure. Spirit Leech, Soul Blight, counteract some of those stat buffs they get. Falcon's gonna get aggressive here, no question about it, but he doesn't want to come into melee, not right away. Alariel has been Spirit Leeched, and a Arcane Unforging to put Wa on cooldown. Really good idea, and now he commits to melee because he knows Wa will not be popping up. Oh god, this is a great way to get your Lord killed. Tempest on Skullmuncher, Star Dragon, and Alariel gooning on top. Azag might just rout immediately. That's a nightmare situation. This is why it's dangerous to go flyer against the High Elves. Alariel can cash you out with the Tempest, and then it's good night, sweet prince. Azag might die immediately. That's true in vanilla as well. I'm surprised Flying Taco got caught out by that. He's just dead. He's just dead. He will not come back. And their lord is dead. That's a big blow. The Greenskins. A little bit sloppy. Illyrian Reavers coming in from behind. Straight onto the Savage Orc Boar Boys. Savage Orc Big Guns charging in. Trying to overlap that engagement. Prevent them from cycle charging. Shadow Warriors are untouched. No range units in the back line, but what we might see are some Spiderling summons. And indeed, Spider Hatchlings come out of the woodwork into the Shadow Warriors, and they're coming in. That was not a great breath of track, but it'll rout some of the Spider Riders, so I guess that'll work out. Big charge coming in. Massive mass rout on the way. They're shattered? They're shattered. I mean, they lost their lord so early. Sheelam's fine, but she can't take on Alariel and a Star Dragon by herself. Dragon Princes are running roughshod over the Greenskins. Big charge coming in. The Cav is doing well back here. Full surround off on Dryads, but that's the least important unit on the field. Only way Greenskins get back in this game is if they get all this stuff surrounded, get it in a compact formation, and move forward in unison. But I mean, you lose your lord that early with the Greenskins. They're maybe the most affected faction in the game by that. Their entire race is balanced around Wa. Wa never went off. Arcane Unforging completely shut down that play. Tempest shut down Azag the Slaughterer. Char Dragon and Illyrial gooned up. They're going to do the same to Shelob. I don't see how the Greenskins get back into this one. They don't have any source of leadership on the field. And the Cav is just running it all down. No mercy whatsoever. A Star of Avalorn Star Dragon is full HP. How do you deal with that? Shadow Warriors have been focus firing it down too. I mean, textbook Alpha Strike from Falcon. But that's why you don't bring Azag. Like, you have to know. If you're playing against Avalorn, you have to know. Larry on her Pigeon and Star Dragon is gonna be the meta every single time. That's what Falcon does every single time. So bringing Azag is a very risky proposition in that kind of scenario. That said, he is killing off a lot of the Reavers, and the infantry is starting to win. But with the Shelob dead, and so close to the white line, yeah, she's gonna just retreat off the map right here. That'll be a massive swing on the bounce bar. And it's looking like Falcon is gonna send army losses shivering up Flying Taco's spine and take game 3. Put himself up 2-1 and 1 game away from winning this best of 5 series. Barring some kind of miracle. I don't know what miracle that would be. There's no win condition left for the Greenskins. Black Orcs look badass though. Funky Koval, so right. You just need a Witcher. Where's Geralt of Rivia when you need him? Dragon Prince is roaring in from behind. Full sandwich. Terror route begins setting in. Savage Orc Boarboy is also charging. Yeah, there's some good Cav micro from Flying Taco that game for sure. But he was not able to shut down the Shadow Warriors, and he did literally nothing to the Star Dragon. And Larry, well, Larry's just being Larry. She's hit the healing cap, but she's insta-jibbing a bunch of Greenskins. And she's just sauntering over. Just waddling into the scrub. Black Orcs are immune to Psych, so they are not going to terror out. But they're not going to be around much longer either. Star Dragon up to 100 kills. Falcon and his Dragon play. No one's been able to deal with it so far. Flying Taco better come up with a strat for that real soon, because we might see Dark Elves next. Falcon loves his elves. There is no denying that, and the Greenskins got face rolled in that one. Treacherous as the sea, stronger than the foundations of the earth, all shall love me and despair. The Dark Queen Illyrial, striking from the shadows. Except it was a sunny day and Azag saw her coming from a mile away. What was he doing? Got caught out by the Tempest, and Star Dragon and Larry came on over and gave him a right old pounding. Yeah, if you don't get Wall off with the Greenskins, it's really hard to win. That is what makes their faction special. What they've been balanced around. If you don't get Wah going off, that was, honestly though, brilliant play from Falcon. Can't take anything away from that. The Arcane Unforging is a perfect counterpick to Greenskins. A perfect counterpick to Wah. I don't know what cooldown it puts those spells on. Maybe like 45, maybe 60. But a long one. And then, by that point, you're already in there with the Dragon Princes. You're already in there with the Dryads. They don't get their charge bonus off. Melee fight's not going to go so well. And if you're not winning the melee fight with the Greenskins, then things are going terribly wrong. Especially against the Azur, the pompous, prickly knife ears. Alright, so it's 2-1. Falcon is up on Flying Taco. We're going to game 4. And the map is Kulchan Plains. We're going to Lustria. Have a girl. I don't know if you guys know this, but I actually was Galadriel in Lord of the Rings. I'm literally Cate Blanchett, so yeah, I'm a pretty good actor and also very attractive. Look really good. And my voice is, I mean, it's literally Galadriel, so that's why I sound like her. I remember from a past stream you were planning to start your 40k tabletop. Whoa, no, that was someone else, my dude. I will not be playing tabletop. There are too many barriers to entry, way too many. I can't say never. I won't say I'll never do it, but I'm not starting a 40k army right now, especially not right now. I like the idea of tabletop, but there are just so many barriers to entry in terms of finding a place where the people are cool, not incredibly socially awkward, don't smell bad. That's kind of a stereotype, obviously. Most people aren't like that. Most of the people I've ever talked to about 40k and fantasy are really cool dudes and not socially awkward at all. But there's no denying there is an element of that, which isn't ideal. The bigger issue is it costs like absurd amounts of money. It's like $1,000 to field a single tabletop army. If I was to play tabletop, I would probably play Thousand Suns or World Eaters to start. I think those would be the armies I'd enjoy the most to start with. Maybe Night Lords. Definitely Chaos Space Marines would be my starting faction. But yeah, you have to find a location that you actually like, that's close to your house. You have to invest absurd amounts of money. I'm very bad at painting. I can't do that very well at all. And then if you want to like actually get a good painted army, you either have to learn it, which is a massive time commitment, or you have to get someone to do it for you, which costs a lot of money. And then you look at a game like Total War Warhammer, and I can play tabletop at any point I want. I can wake up, roll out of bed, and play it immediately. There's a lot to be said for the Total War outlook on it. I can't play tabletop whenever I want. You just can't do it. You have to find someone else to invest that time as well. So I think there's lots of cool things about tabletop. There's lots of cool things about the people that play tabletop. But overall, it's a hard hobby to get into. A lot of barriers to entry. But I think Chaos Space Marines would be my go-to at the start. Which, Turin plays those, I believe. He has a really... I've seen his Death Guard army. It's really sexy. Shoutouts to Turin and his Death Guard. He also has Thousand Suns Detachment. He also has Emperor's Children. He's full Chaos as well. I think he's also, like, starting to get Night Lords. Alright, so we're on Colchine Plains and looking like Wood Elves and Chaos. Ooh, this is an interesting one. Okay, so I actually love this matchup. It is completely diametrically opposed styles. For Chaos, you're heavy metal. You're all about getting in your opponent's face, running them down, beating them up in melee combat. That's what they do. For Wood Elves, it's all AP. Their entire faction is armor piercing. But it's all glass cannons. It's all hypermobile, super squish units. So, and they want to keep you at range a lot of the time. With Way Watchers, if he goes for a Way Watcher core, that's what he's going to do. He's going to just spread the field and kite. So, if you're playing as the Wood Elves, you want to Lightning Strike, disengage, and get out of there. If you try to outgrind Chaos in a long, drag-it-out fight, you're going to be in for a bad time. They should own the air here, I would think. But it's Falcon. And what Falcon likes doing is Forest Dragon and Wild Rider play. Wild Riders are elite in SFO. Very strong units. The shielded variant has bonus versus large. The unshielded has bonus versus infantry. But they are elite. They aren't like the high tier light cav. They're hyper-mobile heavy hitters. Still a little bit squish, for sure. But they're expensive. They're like 1,800 gold, as opposed to 1,100 and 1,200 in the base game. So very expensive. But what he likes to do in the base game is go Glade Lord with the Helm of Discord, land, and then wherever he lands, Shield of Thorns, Helm of Discord, heals, and Wild Rider Blob. And he tries to win the mobility game. If you're Chaos, probably Swords of Chaos and Chaos Knights with Shields are a really good answer. Because they have the tankiness, the survivability, the ability to charge into melee with stuff like Dryads and Eternal Guard and grind it out. Then they have the speed to catch archers. And they have the shields to not get torn up by Way Watchers and Starfire Shafts as much as some other units. So I think those shielded Chaos Knights are a really good pick here. We'll probably see a spread the field type army from Chaos. I don't think you want to be going hyper elite, because that's when you get Prey of Anathema and shot to pieces by 4 Way Watchers. So I think we'll see him spread the field. Probably plenty of Chaos Warriors, which are also actually more elite in this than the base game. But honestly, probably not a lot of infantry, actually. Probably just Chaos Knights, Marauder Horsemen, spread the field, win the air battle, get into the back line, kill the Way Watchers. After that, you win the game. I don't think we'll be seeing Aspiring Champions. I don't think that's the right call. Mirror Guard are really good in this matchup, in the base game as well, but especially in SFO. Yeah, they have gold shields, which is new compared to vanilla. I think the Bleak Swords, quite a few units actually have gold shields in Grimhammer. And it changes stuff. When you're talking 50% missile block chance, yeah, it's impressive. It's very hard to snipe stuff out like that. From the front, anyway. But that's what the Wood Elves bring to the table. You don't need to be fighting from the front. That's what Way Watchers bring to the table. You don't need to be fighting from the front. They can flank. They can get behind tied down infantry. When they shoot you from the rear, your shield doesn't matter. Well, going into game 4, Falcon is up 2-1 against his clanmate, Flying Taco. Yeah, what do you guys think about the old world coming back? Are you guys going to pick up the tabletop then, when it returns? What faction are you looking to play? Obviously, we don't know exactly what the content will entail yet. Do you want it to just be bring back old armies and then infuse a little bit more flavor into each one? Will there be less flavor now, but just updated models? Because it's 1,000 years before the current timeline of Warhammer Fantasy. A lot of dwarf technology hasn't even been invented at that point in history. So they might lose some units like gyrocopters. But an updated model range for all those old world factions will be... It'll be high time. You go back and look at some of those 7th and 8th edition models that are not very attractive. That is one thing I think Age of Sigmar does a hell of a lot better than Warhammer Fantasy. Model range is just way more impressive looking. I mean, I know it's been memed before, but like 6th edition Nagash, the Skeletor, meow! Like, oh. Not a good look, dude. Yeah, Wood Elves Balance of Power is weird, man. Look at that. They have it again. It didn't matter last time. Greenskins rolled them over. Yeah, okay, so this is about what I was expecting. Blade Lord. Is it a Glady or... Yeah, it's a Glady. Glady with Prey of Anathema, Forest Dragon, Spellsinger Lore of Life, Spellsinger Lore of Beasts. Yeah, you're seeing the summons every game. This is what happens when your summons don't degen. People always invest in bringing that summon because it's free units, right? Like, why would you not? That extra 2 Manticores is a game changer. But every faction can do it, so not a big deal. So, for the build, Blade Riders, Sisters of the Thorn. They have a corrosive poison contact effect. Blade Riders, Hagbane Tips. Hawk Riders, who move at 135 speed in SFO Grimhammer. Forest Dragon, Blade Lord on a Forest Dragon, and some Dryads with... Oh. Falcon! I'm not going to tell him. We'll point that out after. He forgot to give them dances. He forgot to give them aspects. Maybe he didn't want them. Maybe he wanted them as their base stat line, but I think he forgot to give them their unique effects. Chaos Marauders. Chaos Knights with Lances. Chaos Knights with Shield. With their bonus versus Infantry. Forgot to mention that Chaos Knights do have bonus versus Large in SFO. Chaos Knights with Shields have bonus versus Infantry and Flaming attacks. A lot of Flaming attacks. He does have a great Chaos Dragon, but that dragon might get isolated and definitely cannot beat Hawk Riders and 2 Forest Dragons in melee up in the skies. Chaos Marauder front line. Sartorial the Everwatcher, of course, is a great choice here. High missile resist, unbreakable, very high mobility, high mass, high everything. Just a monster. Got a big charge coming in. Marauders are going to take the brunt. They're going to be the guinea pigs. They're going to die to everything the Wood Elves send their way. Big question is how that great Chaos Dragon does against Lore of Life and 2 dragons. That's a lot to field. That's a lot to deal with, for sure. The Chaos Knights are scary, too. And if the dragons land, the Chaos Knights jump on them, could get bad news bears for them real quick. This is why you let the Chaos Knights with shields go first. Got that silver missile block chance and 126 armor. There's not actually a lot of AP. There's no AP missile fire coming in from the Wood Elves at all, besides those Sisters of Avalor. Chaos Dragon hunting the Hawk Riders. Looks like he's going to go in. And he does not have Feral Manticores to fight. So keeping that Chaos Dragon alive, not going to be easy. Going to be very interested to see how that goes. Now, fighting in the forest is where Chaos wants to fight. I'm surprised Falcon wants to take that fight there. Finally, he does go Oak aspect. That missile resist, the physical resist rather, and melee defense. Big debuff going down. Soul Leech of Tzeentch from Sartorial the Everwatcher. Nice Penumbral Pendulum from Flying Taco. Big soporific breath coming in. Corrosive breath. Melting. But I think that was more friendly fire than anything. What the hell? The Sisters of Avalor, or the Sisters of the Thorn broke immediately after that breath attack. And the Forest Dragon just goes straight in. Marauder Horsemasters in the rear and throwing axes too. Good focus fire. Might be worth it to just surround that Glade Lord and finish her off. Hawk Riders are diving in on the back line and dealing with the Marauder Horsemen pretty well. Oh, that Chaos Dragon is just dead. The Chaos Dragon is just dead, dude. There's no coming back for that, I don't think. Trying to heal it with Unholy Pact of the Changer. Oh, maybe it can escape. Maybe. So there is heals coming out from Sartorial the Everwatcher. That is important to note. He does have heals. I forgot about that. Marauder Horsemen are rallying to their lord. Feral Manticore coming in. And Sartorial is diving through the Dryads, trying to finish off all of this HP. Alright, so the Chaos Knights are down pretty low, actually. Hawk Riders don't have their AP missile fire selected. They can switch between standard shot and heavy armor piercing shot that does less base damage but more AP. So far, he's not switched. I would probably switch if you want to fire into the Chaos Knights. But still, they're getting beat up. Sartorial is a bit isolated at the moment. Valspar is in favor of the Wood Elves. Another Penumbral Pendulum, though. That could wreck them pretty bad. Nice cast. Wow, she carved them apart. Really well played. Getting a little bit blobbed up here. Needs to kill off these dragons. Prey of Anathrema goes down on Sartorial. Nice firing line from Falcon and the Wood Elves. I don't think the Marauder Horsemasters are... They are firing. Okay, they're starting to kill off some of these Hawk Riders, which is good. Need to get rid of those for sure. Sartorial's down to half HP. The Manticores and the Dragon are looking really healthy. And the Chaos Dragon is... Ooh, he is alive. Back to... No. Down to 4,000 HP. Getting chased by a Feral Manticore. Well, if this tournament has proven anything, it's that Transformation of Kadan is pretty damn strong and competitive. We've seen it in every single game. Again, that's what happens when summons don't degen. And the fact that he didn't bring it this battle might punish him, but the Chaos Dragon's still alive. He's not going down without a fight. Unholy Pact the Changer. Soul Leech of Tzeentch. Nice breath attack. Melting Sartorial. Falcon is gooning up hard. I think it's going to go Falcon's way. I think the Azrai are about to put the nail in the coffin for the Chaos Forces. Marauder Horsemen are being run down. Full surround off. Chaos Dragon isn't dead yet, but Curse of Anri here slowing it down with a 54 speed. Makes him very easy to hunt down for that Feral Manticore. Even getting a magic missile. Hunter of Karnas coming in from that Glade Lord. This is going to be army losses, dude. Sartorial's one hit from death. And barring some kind of miracle, I think Falcon is going to take this series 3-1 and be crowned SFO champion. Double dragon play. Was there a single game Falcon didn't play elves or bring dragons? I think the answer is no. He likes his elves. And they're going to carry the day here. Wow. Dominant performance. It does make sense. I mean, Falcon has played SFO multiplayer before. His army builds reflected that. That transformation of Kadan, it's a big deal. Now, obviously, don't need to have any influence on what's going on in campaign. I'd say maybe for the future, or for the competitive build for SFO, might be worth looking into what summons can do in terms of their HP and their crumbling. I think it's too hard to skip Transformation of Kadan, Cygor summons, that kind of thing. Because it's essentially putting another 8,000 HP on the board. Putting another terror-causing unit on the board. How do you deal with 2 dragons and 2 Feral Manscores if they don't ever degen? It's pretty difficult. So I think that having those summons would probably be good if they crumbled a bit more. Or had some kind of downside. Because right now there really is none. Like, you can see, if the best players in the world are investing in that every single time, probably worth looking into. Only for competitive. For campaign, I don't have a problem with someone's not degenning at all. But yeah, I mean, Falcon played that really, really well. His builds reflected the fact that he knew how powerful that was, and he knew how powerful the air game needed to be. His presence in the air shut down that Chaos Dragon entirely. Had no chance whatsoever to do anything it wanted to do. It's going up against 2 Forest Dragons with poison and 25% ward saves. And 2 Feral Manscores. With no summons to support it. No way that Chaos Dragon was going to be a good pick. And actually, for Flying Taco, I think that was kind of the issue he ran into in the last game as well. You bring Skull Muncha, but how do you support it? How do you support that Wyvern in the air when you have no other air presence whatsoever? If you're going to go Chaos Dragon here, I think that's a decent play. Gotta invest more in the air. And I think he got punished there for it. Bet Falcon is listening to a Skyrim theme song every time he plays with his dragons. Dude. Dovahkiin! Dovahkiin! Pretty much. Yeah, pretty much, dude. Pretty much. The Skyrim theme is playing every time Falcon rides to ruin. GG. GG, guys. That was really interesting. I am Prince and Emperor. What did you miss? Well, if you just joined, you missed the whole tourney. Okay. So, a couple things we need to do. I'm not quite ready to end the stream yet. Couple things we need to figure out. For one, wait, not crazy, right? That is 3-1, right? Yeah, you went up 2-1 with the Greenskins. Yeah, that's 3-1, 100%. What is your logo, bro? Who are you talking to? Me? Yeah, I mean, as usual, every single time after the stream's over, usually maybe 3 hours after, it will finish processing and it'll go straight up to YouTube as a VOD, so you can watch it as your heart's content. We need to figure out the prize pool. Figure out the split there. So Falcon is your champion, unless I'm being a complete idiot, which I'm quite sure I'm not. We need to look at the donations, and we need to figure all that stuff out. So let's go to splash screen real quick. If you want to donate to the prize pool or myself, now is probably your last chance. No problem if not. Thank you guys for joining me. It's been awesome so far. But before we call it, gotta count up some monies, figure out if we missed any donations, and we also, I don't know. You guys want to watch the Stardies 5 and talk about it at the end of the stream? Stardies Part 5 was pretty cool. I don't know, should I do like a regular video on that later on, or should I just talk about it on stream? It was really interesting. I don't know, I don't think copyright would be an issue, and if I'm shouting out the channel, I don't think he'd have a problem with it either. I already know a lot of other people have already done reaction videos for it, but in terms of detail, it might be better to just do that as a separate video. Not really sure, but you guys are welcome to let me know. Yeah, Mr. Pig was the last donation we had on PayPal. I think right now we're looking at about a $200 prize pool. Be my guess. It's around that. Deserves a vid, do both. Yeah, do must Arbiton. Can we not spam Thousand Suns memes in the chat? Thanks. You're cruising for a bruising, my guy. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, thank you, Venerous. Appreciate it. All right, so yeah, we're looking at about a $200 prize pool so far. Okay. I don't think this will end up demonetizing the VOD, so let's do it. Let's talk Astartes to end this thing. Because it was super interesting. So let's jump into it. If you have not subbed to this guy or supported his work, please consider it. Seriously, incredibly impressive to watch what he's been able to do. Let's just jump right into it, man. And jack up that volume and talk Astartes. Let's go back to chat real quick. Does have a point. Magnus did do nothing wrong. It really wasn't Magnus's fault. Like, the Emperor is a horrible, horrible daddy. There's no question. Wait, Howitzer, I didn't see you spam. What were you asking? Alright. So let's go not full screen, let's go theater mode and play this baby. Support this guy's channel, dude, seriously. That 500,000 subs, man. This is some of the best CGI I've ever seen. Like, period. That includes Hollywood. It's incredibly well animated. Tell me how the volume is and stuff, too. Grayscale Plaid, $5. Lorgar did nothing wrong. Thank you, my friend. Much appreciated. Okay. So, let me set the backstory. If you've not seen part 1 through 4, we're not going to watch all that again. This is already 7 minutes long, so breaking it down is going to take a while. There's a lot to unpack here. This is more a Lovecraftian horror style. Part 1 through 4 was very much all about, like, just pure Spice Marine action. Like, go in there and just murderize stuff. And it was dope for that. This one is much more focused on the aesthetics and the overall atmosphere, and Lovecraftian horror is a very good way to put it. So, Space Marines, a unknown chapter of unknown founding, has infiltrated a rebel ship. They are humanoid, probably humans, and my theory is that they are trying to awaken a Chatan shard. I say Chatan, you can say Catan, whatever. I think Chatan sounds better, so I'm gonna say Chatan. Chatan are star gods, universe-destroying deities that fought with the Necrontyr, the Eldar, Greenskins, and a few others in the War of Heaven millennia ago. Long time ago. So what they're doing here is they're infiltrating a enemy rebel ship and trying to come across some Xenos artifact or maybe something left over from the Dark Age of technology. They don't know what it is yet, but there are two of them and they're speaking with each other. So there's an Inquisitor mind melding with this device and a captain overseeing the situation. So this is all happening on an Imperial ship. You can see it. There's going to be logos on the bottom, on the floor, where you can see exactly that it is in fact an Imperial cruiser, and they're on their own ship. This is one object they presumably found before, but it's speaking to another one that's planet side or enemy ship side. I guess they're actually on a planet. They're not infiltrating a ship, they're infiltrating a planet. So this is the kill team sent to interface with this object planet side. Holy shit! Okay, so We don't know what this is. Obviously, a lot of this, unless it gets confirmed by the creator itself, we won't know, but there are plenty of things to discuss here. It's a golden colossus that is likely going to be the framework for the malevolent AI that's within this object they're about to go interface with. They were trying to move it to this body. It's obviously godlike, obviously has a tremendous amount of power. You can imagine what kind of horrors this thing could unleash if it was ever finished. But this is essentially what the rebels were working on, this humanoid race that the Space Marines are just invaded. They don't want this to come to fruition. They got there at just the right time because it looks like it was nearing completion. And this thing interfaced with a malevolent AI, problem. If it interfaced with, it's not an AI, if it's a Chiton shard, if it's a shard of the Void Dragon, some horrible entity that's left over from millennia before, then whole solar systems could be at risk if this thing came online. So obviously they want to eliminate it. It's going to be a problem if it becomes a problem. Absolutely gorgeous aesthetics though. And there's the sister cube. We'll call them the mother boxes. Like a horrible Justice League movie. As you might imagine, it has defenses. Astartes. So it's clearly psychic in nature. We don't know what its origin is, but it has a lot of power. It can psychically manipulate Space Marines in power armor, which is not particularly easy. We already saw them bust through power armor in part 4. I mean, they were able to literally get through enemy psychic powers, push through and stab and break the cerebral cortex on the back of their neck and finish them off for good. This thing's more powerful than that, obviously. But it's trying to prevent them from interfacing with it. Instead, it will actually happen. They will interface, but it'll open up a bridge of communication between both objects, both planetside and the one that's up in the Imperial cruiser. So a lot of questions here, obviously. One, is this a Chaos object or is it a Chiton object? Is it a Dark Age of Technology object? We don't really know. There are hints at the end of the video, when we get to it, that will imply Chiton, because it looks very Necron tier when we get to the end. But they're trying to either corrupt this object and like kind of infiltrate it with some kind of nanovirus to shut the damn thing down, or this is literally just to interface with the stuff that's going on back home on the cruiser. So there's the Inquisitor that's interfacing with it, mind melding with it, trying to understand what the object is. Sounds a little bit heretical, to be honest. And one of my first inclinations when I watched this is some kind of like cursed founding chapter. Because what they're doing is kind of heretical, right? They're interfacing with a, I don't know if it's a Xenos object, but if it is, that is very much heresy. They're trying to learn from a Xenos object instead of like actually destroy it. Normally, they'd say, okay, hell no, let's just like bomb the damn thing from orbit and we'll move on. There's some indication here that it's a human object, in which case if it is from the Dark Age of Technology, it would make sense that they're studying it. That's maybe why they're doing so. But right now, I don't think this is actually a nanovirus that's meant to destroy the object. It's literally connecting it to the cruiser back home, which is weird. We got the Inquisitor working for Ordo Malleus or Ordo Hereticus, something. Not sure exactly what that symbol is. It looks very similar to the Ordo Malleus one, but I don't think he's Malleus. This is the first Mother Box. We'll call it Mother Box 1. Okay, so now this gets super interesting, and I might actually go to the comment section to break down exactly what they say in this discussion. But essentially, the Mother Boxes start speaking to each other. One on the Imperial Cruiser and the one planet side. As soon as they interface, they begin speaking. It opens up a connection that the Psyker, who is trying to understand mind meld with the machine, he's trying to figure out what the hell is going on as well, what the object means. Obviously, the psychic presence here is going to get very scary, very anomalous, very powerful. Bad things are going to start happening. But we'll listen to what they say, and then I'm going to go to the comment section to make sure that I get the translation correct. Okay, so the general gist of what he just said, what the Mother Box said, was you have to break your seal. You have to do whatever you can to get these Astartes off our ass and go away. So the other one says, oh, that's scary. I'm going to die if I do that. We'll never survive. But they're working in tandem here to make sure the Space Marines move away. So I'm going to go to the... there should be a comment here that says... Someone has a translation of what exactly is said. Feel free to leave it in the comment section as well. Stream. But so people have broken it down completely. Maybe if we go to top comments, we'll be able to find it. I just want to make sure I don't miss anything. Here we go. So they say, who's here? I have failed, brother. We have all failed. Obviously, the rebel army, the race they have kind of employed to bring the orbs back online to do whatever malevolent thing they were doing. Didn't work out. All those Psykers are dead now, killed by the Astartes. So, I have failed, brother. We have all failed. The Astartes deny our touch. They were able to push through the psychic null field and then interface with the object. We must return. Break your seal. Possibly referring to the caged one orb. Impossible. We'll never survive. You must take them. Take them where? Well, we're about to find out. By the way, can I just say that those dudes in white, the captain and the... Well, he looks like a raptor. He's like a salt marine with the beak helmet, that predatory beak helmet. God, they look so damn lean. Look at that white and gold. That is so schmexy, dude. That's so schmexy. The jet black eyes. Oh my god. Now, I must say this is complete dumbassery. Why you have a single Psyker, I don't care how powerful it is, unless it's like Magnus the Red. Why are you having a single Psyker try to carry the load of what you already know is an incredibly powerful psychic object with unknown origins? It's not very intelligent. It's really stupid, actually. Now, cool stuff to unpack there. We've got the captain himself, and he's beginning to sense that something's very wrong. You can see the quivering in the Inquisitor's, or the Psyker's, hands there. He's freaking out. He knows something's wrong. Really cool imagery there. I'm gonna be honest, I don't know what that is. I don't know who those are. It looks like the captain would be my guess. But this is some flashback of some sort. Some kind of vision. This, on the other hand, this is the Astarte squad. This is the kill team that got sent down below. This is maybe some kind of foreshadowing of what awaits them. But this is very This is very Chatan. This is very Necron tier style, like before they were moved into the fires of biotransference. This isn't Imperial in any way. This is very alien. I love. We're gonna watch that a couple more times. Yeah. Oh man. So they punch his face off, and then they put a few bolt rounds in him for good measure. So he's spread all over the floor. Yeah. Astartes don't play around with heresy, and they don't play around with summonings or possessions, and so that Psyker was never really given a chance to survive, man. Like they kind of threw him to the dogs, took him out back and shot him. Figures that are in the first flashback are the same outfits as the Psykers killed in episode 4. Same long cape, the same pauldrons, the same head shape. Okay, so yeah, in part 4. They engage a squad of 2 of these very powerful Psykers that use much the same psychic energies that these objects do. Don't know if those are human or humanoid, or if they are related to the objects in any way. There are actually a couple older races from before the Dark Age of technology that have kind of reared their ugly head in 40k lore as well, that are literally like circular objects. I can't remember the name of them now. Like, I think one's called like the Nexus or something. I'm gonna get the names wrong. Leave them in chat. I'm sure you guys know. But there are 2 races in particular that are kind of like orbs of shadow and light that are very malevolent and very powerful. I don't think that's what these are here, what these objects are, but it evokes the same imagery at the very least. Yeah, Uvath might. Okay. So, the second sphere is activated. It's dropped its shield. It's doing its business. It's taking the big dick out and swinging it around. And it wants to completely unleash its power. It's about to do that. Well, begin look at what is a demon, a malevolent deity of some sort. This is the kind of thing that makes you think Void Dragon. Now, there's a shard of the Void Dragon that the Emperor destroyed. I mean, he essentially fought this monstrosity, a Chatan, back in prehistory. And they buried one of its shards on Mars. It's currently being watched over by a Perpetual and buried like beneath some like labyrinth, like the Tesseract Labyrinth or something. I can't remember the name of it. But buried deep beneath Mars. There's a heavy indication, in fact, I think it's outright, not just implied, I think it's outright stated that now in current 40k lore, it's confirmed that that is a shard of the Void Dragon, and that the Omnissiah is that shard. That they're one and the same. They're a single entity. If I'm wrong on that, please let me know. Pretty sure that is correct. That it's at least heavily implied. I think the Mechanicum novel by maybe Graham McNeil went into that heavily. But the Omnissiah, the god, the machine god of the Admech, is this also, in part, this shard of a malevolent, galaxy-destroying deity. So this evokes that same kind of imagery for me, 100%. This isn't like a normal warp demon. I don't think this is chaos at all. I don't think this is even remotely related to chaos in the slightest. Ouch. Well, damn. Where'd they go? Okay, So the first time I watched this, I thought it was all one object. I thought that it was a flashback to the TAC team, the kill team, getting absolutely wrecked. I thought they all died, and then I thought the Inquisitor thing was happening live. What actually happened, and you saw it when the Astartes captain calls on his buddy, tells him to run, they're calling down to the surface to tell the TAC team, oh god, the two objects are communicating. Run, get out of there. He hears it right before that happens, and then they all get sucked into this huge sphere. And I thought they were dead. I thought they were going for a very Dawn of War 3 trailer style ending with all the imagery that happens at the end. No, all this stuff is actually happening. It's not neurons firing. It's not a space marine on the verge of death, his brain firing, and we're just seeing cool imagery for the sake of it. All of it's still actually going on. And we actually get a really good look at the ship and the planet itself in a second here, I think. That might have been it. There's a frame here where they essentially call in Exterminatus on the planet. At the same time, they teleport these dudes out. I don't know if it's the object or the Imperium, the ship, the cruiser, that teleports them to the planet's surface. But I think it's the Imperium that teleports them out of the object. It could be, I don't know. I'd be very curious to hear what you guys think about that element of it. But they go down to the planet's surface. Let's take a look at that. I think they nuke the first object, though. Oh, that sound. So gross. He's ascended. He's the main character now. You see his face. And he doesn't care that he blew his own hand away with the plasma pistol. Because he's a goddamn mouse. Okay. So, wow. That imagery is so damn cool. Very much not Imperial or Chaos-y at all. This, to me, looks like the Necron tier before they were moved into the fires of biotransference. Straight up. This, to me, looks like Tomb Kings, dude. Which is after the retcon, after the Necron tier's origin was changed, after they became Space Tomb Kings. It always bothers me when people say that Tomb Kings are Necron tier light. I'm like, no, Tomb Kings came out way before Necrons did. Way before they got this rework that made them undead space Egyptians. But this, I mean, how can you look at that and not say this is Egyptian? You've got the obelisks, you've got the pauldrons that look very Egyptian, you've got the headdresses, you've got the skeletons, the death imagery, the obsession with death, which is true of the Imperium too. Skulls are obviously a big factor there, but I mean, look at that. Look at this guy on the right. That's Necron, dude. Like, period. Straight up. So, if you're going Necron, why would the object they're interfacing with not be a Chiton shard? A powerful, and it doesn't necessarily have to be psychic. I noticed someone in the chat said, okay, it's a psychic power. Psychic abilities are the antithesis, the anathema of the Chiton. It doesn't necessarily have to be psychic. I mean, you have a psyker who's trying to interface with it. It's some kind of power that people don't truly completely understand. Might not necessarily be warp-based, but it's a power. We saw that for sure. Able to push back Astartes in full power armor. But he's not alone. He's gotten his hand blown off. He's messed up. Not recognizing any pain because all the combat drugs and stims are injected fully into him. But take a look at all these other obelisks for a second here. As the music hits, pay attention. Light. Hold up. We'll do it again. Light. This is obviously huge where they are. Those objects are huge. Those skeletons are huge. But each of these obelisks is ginormous. I mean, hundreds of feet tall. There's a space marine. Can't see them. There's a space marine from that kill team getting teleported to each and every one of these pillars. So whether that was the Imperium or whether that was the object bringing them to that location for a specific purpose, I do not know. It's weird because it's heavily implied when the two objects are speaking to each other that they want the Astartes down here on the planet for a reason. What that reason is, very hard to know. Apparently part 5 is going to be the last part in this series, so don't know. Let's watch the end. I love that. God damn, that looks so cool. One more time. Can you imagine a full movie like that? God. Okay, so a couple things to unpack there too. So this is an unknown chapter of unknown origin made up for the Astartes series. People were saying that these might be other cursed founding chapters. Let's go. So this is one of them. Someone was saying these are the Star Dragons, which I think are unknown origin chapter from like the 35th millennium. I do not believe this is a real chapter, or at least not one that is known. I think that's true of this one as well, which is obviously rocking some blood aesthetics that would be similar to the Blood Angels, like Angel Sanguine, or any of those sub-chapters. But look at that. God, that looks so cool. Look at that. Just one blood drop. That imagery is so good. We have no idea who these chapters are. I do not believe they're known. I can't see what those buttons are. Are those commas? Not doing anything. Anyway, yeah, I don't think these chapters are known. I think they're unknown origin, unknown name, made up for the purpose of Astartes. But like I said at the beginning, the first imagery that was evoked when I saw this chapter, the way they interact with Xenos artifacts, and seeing these two right here, the blood and the dragon symbols on these chapters, the first thing I think of is the cursed founding. So essentially, chapters that were forged in the 35th millennium that fell to chaos relatively easily because of problems with their gene seed, problems with their net code, with the science that went into their forging. So a lot of those did fall to chaos. In this case, it wouldn't be so much chaos aligned or falling to chaos as it would be they are, well, there's the two schools of thought in 40k with Inquisitors. There's the Puritan viewpoint and the radical viewpoint. These Space Marine chapters seem pretty radical to me. The fact that they're willing to let a Psyker talk to a Xenos artifact is not very Puritan, let's just say that. So it's interesting to see them, and I think this is just kind of a preview of what he could do in the future, but it looks to me like this last scene. That could be the same planet. I don't know that it is. It might be entirely unrelated, but it looked kind of deserty. And when you see the shots come in there, those micro fletchets, that looks Eldari to me. So it looks like he's fighting Eldar, not Necrons. That's not Necron tier at all. Any Necron shot you see is going to be green, going to be Gauss cannons, huge lasers. These are like micro fletchets that you might see from a shuriken catapult. That would be my guess. Yeah, and honestly, I think that's a good way to handle it. The way he's handled it is leave it on this like crazy high note where you have no idea what's going to happen. We don't need to know what happens to these Astartes. I mean, they're peons. Like, they don't matter. In the scheme of a 40k universe with trillions of people and millions of inhabited planets and an empire that spans the galaxy, these 5 don't matter at all. We don't need to know what happens to them. Just getting us thinking and talking about what all this is cool enough. That's super cool, dude. Like, oh, the imagery is just beautiful. You hit the nail on the head. Yeah, so Dark Eldar Splinter Rifles people are talking about. Yeah, could be that. Yeah, I'm not sure that's exactly a shuriken catapult. I'm not very familiar with Dark Eldar technology, so I don't really know what they have, but I have heard people say Splinter Rifle, so that could be it, for sure. God damn, that whole thing. It is so interesting. If you had to guess, guys, would you say that these chapters are this dude right here? See, this is where he warns the squad at the surface. He's like, go, run, go tell them what's up. It's going bad, it's going bad. But would you say that this dude right here, is he a captain of this kill team? Is he the captain of this whole chapter? Is he just related to the Ordo Hereticus, Ordo Malleus? Is he tied to them? I mean, normally it's Grey Knights that are tied to Ordo Malleus, but would you say he's part of the same chapter, or is he kind of doing his own thing, kind of overseeing the Psyker and not related to the Grey Space Marine chapter we see on the planet side? Yeah, the veteran sergeant then. Yeah, one thing, I don't see capes very often for guys in full power armor. You see that for the scouts a lot. You don't typically see that for the veteran sergeants, for the captains and all that. But man, that design is so clean, dude. The design is so clean. Well, I don't think... Do all captains have iron halos? Maybe they do. I would imagine that with how much differentiation there is between chapters, I would imagine not all captains have iron halos on the back. Just the speed with which they're like, oh god, he's getting summoned, it's time to finish him off. That's so damn good. So yeah, like, the first time I watched it through, I definitely thought it was one object, not two. I thought all this was just neurons firing. I thought it was like a fever dream as you expire, as you die. But yeah, after the second and third watch through, you can definitely tell, like, this stuff actually happened. I still don't know who teleported them down to the surface, whether it was the object or whether it was the Imperium. Let me know in chat. That music, the atmosphere, everything right there, it's special, dude. What he's done here is special. Really damn cool. Black chevrons on the dark blue gray are the coolest armor style I've seen. Subtle but intimate. Yeah, I agree. The mother box that took them? Yeah. I think it makes sense, because that's what they talk about in the conversation between the two orbs. But for what purpose, though? Dude, maybe even the creator doesn't know. Maybe the creator doesn't even really have as much of a story there. But the fact that he's got us talking, he did his job right. Alright, I'm gonna go do the math and figure out how to split up. I need to make sure that everyone who donated, again, thank you so much for the donations. Let me make sure there were no more on my donations tab. Really appreciate that, guys. Like, I realize these are tough economic times for everybody. Anyone who's willing to donate for this, you guys are awesome. And if you're not and just watching and enjoying, that's more than fair. I will say, ad rates suck right now. It's not great overall on the YouTube side of things. So I will probably be doing more streaming just because it's a better way to cover some of those issues. But I'm fine, honestly. Like, I'm not super worried about it. I just want everyone to stay safe. Enjoy your time off, I guess, and don't get people sick. Wash your hands, be hygienic, and be friendly to people, because a lot of people are going to be going through a lot of stuff right now that's not super fun. I mean, already in the US, unemployment has shot up to, I think, roughly around 10% right now, and it's only going to get worse from here before it gets better. So be safe, and I guess I will talk to you all in the next video. If you guys enjoyed the stream, see you next time. Indie Pride signing out for now. Have a good one, guys.